up, misfits, one and all, to tonight's Skeptic and Ranting. There's no such thing as atheism?
We're not real?
We're not, James. I don't think we even exist.
We don't.
Where tonight we are watching a video from the channel Village Church called There Is No Such Thing as Atheism, John 15:1 through 11. So won't you
be hearing from the village idiot? Is this?
Yes, something like that.
Okay.
For a good time, worth pruning vines for Jesus. Oh my. Prune me, Jesus. Prune me. What is up, everyone out there on the interwebs and the intertubes? I can't believe they make it fit so fast. But also, if you enjoy the show, please don't forget to like, follow on Twitch, or subscribe on YouTube. Woohoo!
Do it.
Because then you'll get access to that bell icon. Exactly, all the people with sunglasses. Even Penelope says so. And you'll gain access to that bell icon, which when you hit to all, will send you reminders to see our premieres. And we are releasing a whole bunch of new shows. 3, maybe 4 different shows in the coming. So much sodomy. Wait, that's a much later podcast. But we are about to have impromptu debate use. James and myself just randomly going out there. I think very much inspired by Skylar fiction, but I cannot help myself, which means I really do think there's going to end up being
chat rooms. And
that's
hangouts.
Right, baby. Well, the funny thing is the politics and religion server, the politics server, they aren't necessarily theist servers, but they lean theist, but I can't. That just makes it that more exciting for me.
Maybe invade some hardcore Wahhabist servers.
Yes, well, we need to spread the global homo. Spread the global homo.
Right, Penelope? Penelope's spreading it?
She's helping spread it. She may want cat TV. But yes, we do, and as well as not only impromptu debate you, and I also just released for the members out there the animation for impromptu debate you. I think we're going to releasing all of them before we everyone will get to see them because they'll be built into the show. But we're going to be doing live, pre-recorded, a mixture of those impromptu debates. We're going to be doing I've already released the members version of the first interview of Skeptic on the Street. Was waiting for the animation and all that. That came out fantastic. So stay tuned for the first episode to premiere. And then our it's so good I almost want to use it as our intro, the animation.
It is good.
And it came out way better than I even expected. I was like, whew. And so that may be our intro or our animation for The Skeptic Show with Amy Newman and James W., where we are going SNL style weekend update talk show. And so look forward to that, as well as, and I've been talking about this for a while, and if James Cameron beats me to releasing a movie before I say it, I think that's a me problem. And so James Cameron he just released Way of the Water trailer, Avatar 2 trailer. And that's going to be hitting soon in the holiday season. And I'm going to
be doing... The movie or the trailer?
the trailer just released, so it's been teasers the whole time. And if you went
he's milking this for everything he can.
He's milking it, and so he just released the actual first trailer for the movie. And so the first trailer hit because the teaser only had a single line. I think I've seen it so much, I know it. It is this family is our fortress. Over the 1.5 minute. It is a good trailer. Because anything that basically is just a soundtrack for a trailer, my gosh, that's amazing in and of itself. It reminds me completely different, but Nicolas Cage recently did a movie where he had no lines, and that was fantastic.
Is he still doing like he owes like so much money to people? He's like doing any little movie that comes along, he'll just do it because he needs that. Money. Does not surprise me. However, he's done some fantastic weird movies lately. He has done. So I haven't really kept up with him lately. He's. I like the one where he has no voice because it's a. Now the name is excluding me. But basically he is a random talkless biker badass, and he gets pinned. Spikes ruin his car, and he in the middle of like a random town, and basically a guy tow truck pulls up and says, "Hey, I can take you and help you out, and it sucks you have no money and we don't accept ATM, but if you just work at this one place for the night, we'll fix your whole car up." And of course, the entire place is haunted. The twist. Oh, what a twist! Ouija boards and is that the animatronics are haunted and are monsters and are eating people, including the teens. But it is as my double spoiler warning. There's a double twist because Nick Cage is somehow way more badass than any of the animatronics or any of the supernatural forces. Huh. Okay. And he gets this basically by drinking a knockoff brand like Wild Turkey energy drink. Yes. And so or something like that. It's a wild movie. And while watching him beat supernatural animatronics. But then he also played himself recently in a movie. Which is fantastic. But yes, we could continue talking. Oh, well, is that? Yes, so I'm releasing, going back to James Cameron, a mythic structure video on the first Avatar and why it works so well. Because people talk about how it's what's it called? Once in a while, dances with wolves and all that kind of stuff. Dances with wolves in space, yeah. In space. But see, I would say that is the plot, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the difference between the plot and the story. Because the plot may be about, being on this otherworldly planet and meeting big blue people in space. However, the story is about a man who basically gave up in life after war and found meaning in trying to defend underdogs, in finding a cause and actually standing up. So, difference between, once again, the plot and story, which I've become obsessed with. Storyline. Dances with Wolves without Kevin Costner. And see, I understand. I disagree. And I'll say everyone because I'm starting to say, Peebo's saying the storyline. Now, a lot of people, I understand that opinion, and I understand why a lot of when you don't look at scene to scene. I think that people really like it when they're in the movie, but I think once you're out, and it's because the Starship is based on like I said, they try and compare it to Dances with Wolves or what is it, like Pocahontas and things like that. But that's what a plot is basically these type of themes that, a superhero movie has to have very specific structure. However, there's a million different superhero movies. But we'll see. Speaking of which, sending love to everyone out there. We do hope that you like, follow, and subscribe, because not only do we do premieres, but we do live shows, and we are saying what is up to everyone out there. What is up, Caterpillar?
Hey, Caterpillar.
Thank you so very much. And what is up, saying love to Peebo and Monkey for Banana and It's a Rubik's and Dave Gar. Rubik's is actually going to be doing a fantastic up-and-coming podcast with us. So looking forward to they being with a whole bunch of other fantastic people. But speaking of fantastic people,
yeah.
Peebo for $5. The ship that gets them there is based on real, possible physics. The creator named it the Valkyrie. I like that. And I will say, I am very biased. I am a gigantic James Cameron fangirl. I think that he...
Oh.
James is like, this is the first time?
Really?
And he does fantastic world building. He does fantastic character development. He knows that, like, how to be geeky while also getting a wide audience. So, for example, Titanic was him being geeky, but he thought, how do I market this to everybody? And it's to make it a love story. And so it's really kind of a slow-burning horror film, actually. And so it's that gives it that massive appeal, though.
Massive.
And I may be, Dave Gar. I'm looking forward. I will be given an answer up to that in the coming. We are hopefully going to be doing a whole bunch more conventions and live in-person things. DebateCon is going on too in November. Sending so much love to James, Sideshow Nav, the entire community over there, Kaz and all that. Oh, Penelope tries to touch the screen. She thinks it's a touch screen. I know, baby girl. I wish it was. Kid screen. But thank you so very much, Peebo, for all the love and support. And I can't keep on talking about James Cameron. But, oh my goodness, sending so much love. Dave Gar is sending us $10. Is sending and giving us a #1 fan. Woo!
Thanks, Dave Gar.
Thank you so very much.
They all love the shirt, Amy. They love the top.
Really? Oh, thank you.
Rave reviews from the crowd out there. Yeah, they like it.
They're always like to have fun when we get to go live. So I have a way too big of a wardrobe. I have more clothes than I probably should have.
I find that very, very hard to believe. Very suspect. Someone who is not so big on accessorization as you.
Exactly. It's true. Speaking
very
of which, I got these in the mail.
Derp.
What
is that?
Sold, these are headbands. I get this way. I normally only do black headbands. However, I finally, I can do some white, some clear, some pink. Mix things up.
Match whatever accessories you've got on that day.
Exactly. Oh, and I love matching. First of all, guys, I will keep on saying this. If you have ever been made fun of by another guy for something that you, for like being gay about something that you look, keep doing it. Like that will get you absolutely laid. Sending so much love. Dave Gar sending so much love to Peebo. You guys are who keep this channel creating so much more awesome new content.
Absolutely.
As well as all of our supporters, our subscribers and viewers, sending love out there. I see the Twitch chat is hitting things up. What's the... Oh, I read it, so now I got it. Nothing says hardcore science fiction like surfing into antimatter engines. Wait, can I also... I'll give you just... I can't help talking about James Cameron, but he said one of his main things, he said, when he's building a world like that is a currency. And that helped me a lot. I don't know why, because it's like a throwaway thing. But as soon as I gave my story, I now have Republic credits. And as soon as I had that, things started making sense. Because it's like, what would people do for money? And it's like, oh, okay. Things start making click.
I think then you start to think about what would Amy do for money.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
That's right. Also... The best thing about Titanic was that it reminds us that our farts will go on. It's true. I always just look at the end of that movie and be like, Rose, just move a little. Just a little bit over to the side. Share the plank. But I know why it had to be done that way.
I mean, the best thing about it is that it had an ending. I mean, it was...
That's true.
Almost 4 hours long, but at least it did end. It wasn't like Yahweh where it went on forever. There was an ending to it.
The second Avatar is there already, I guess, rumored, but long. I assume longer than 3 hours and some change. It's a long movie. Yeah. Cameron actually bought the ship off a physicist. The website Atomic Rocket shows development work. I didn't, but that's fantastic. I do know that he's very much into building physical props. In fact, that is the irony. I mean, I feel like I'm the same way. That's why I'm eventually going to get a green screen, but that's why I have all these physical props, and sometimes it probably looks more put together than it should be. I just can't help it, because in the visual effects industry, visual effects, there's two reasons to use visual effects in a film.
What about that?
And that is one, if it would be cheaper to actually use the special effect, the visual effect, than it would be to go there. So if you want to shoot a movie on the moon, it might be just a little bit easier to create a visual effect of you going to the moon. All the flat earthers are like, I knew it! No, I just mean like the film. And then if you are going to do something that is physically impossible, so it's just a scene that cannot take place. Hell, you're doing a scene in hell. And so that's not real. And so visual effects will be of use there. But if you can build it, you should. If you can build it and it's cheaper, you definitely should. What's that?
So take the Star Wars prequels
as a fantastic example. I could not agree more. I don't know.
All 98% visual effects.
I hate to say that it's a newbie director's mistake, or I can't tell if it's a producer, a director who is actually making that exact thing, but someone in the visual effects or special effects industry will definitely know when to use which, because you can just look at Jaws, you can just look at Jurassic Park. These movies stand the test of time because of how much they built instead of using visual effects. And you ask yourself, why does it look good 50 years later? Because it's real. It's always going to look good.
Yeah. And versus like the original Terminator, which looked good in 1984, but
yes, it will always that type of stuff will always become dated, and it's the first to become dated. But what is James Cameron made perhaps two of the greatest films in history, Aliens and Terminator 2.
Terminator 2 was a great movie. Much better, like, visually than the first one. Only 10 years later, but much better, like, conclusion.
Hey, sometimes it takes 10 years.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, guys, enough of this James Cameron love fest. We got a video to get to. Come on, you guys.
We got two things to do. We're just going to very quickly remind everyone. Yes, well, and I just have to.
He's amazing. We love him.
My final thing, and I don't know if I can say this enough, that James Cameron does not do what James Cameron does for James Cameron. James Cameron does what James Cameron does because he is James Cameron.
I couldn't pull the rope on it until you worked that one in. There you
exactly. But yes, I don't want to
spoil your fun too much.
But we just want to remind everyone out there that we to thank you for all the super chats. That really does help. Thank you to all of our channel members. If you don't know, we have channel membership both on YouTube and Twitch, where you can get some emojis, badges that evolve, that actually just accumulate over time and just prove over and wrong. But also, all of our Patreons at patreon.com/Amy Newman. That is one of the best ways to help us make even more fun content. We're trying to hit 300. We want to start doing our own conventions and all sorts of fun stuff. And so we thank you for that. And we also just want to thank some of our supporters and remind you on these topics for love, like Oz from the Atheist Network Group at youtube.com/the Atheist Network Group, connecting atheists with Oz, the queen of production, Jena, Shane the Skeptic, the whole gang, Tang Gang. Go there or be square. But also sending love to grumpy old Cuss, reminding us that creationists, when we listen to these claims, make us go, what are we listening to? We really... Sometimes when you just go 6,000 years old, no, 6,000, that makes sense. It could be 6000, or it could be 4.50000000. No, those are basically the same numbers. But sending love to Grumpy, sending love to Diana Smith, reminding us that the Bible definitely tries to put women in their place. I think that holy texts do this because women just naturally take over sometimes. Not to get off feminista on the I can feel my hair just turning blue. But yeah, they just try to push women down, or else they take over. What's up, baby girl? I know. See, she agrees. But also, not only Diana Smith, but also Pat Lowinger. We saw Pat out there. Pat. What is up, Pat?
Yeah,
Hope you're doing awesome.
Good to see Pat out there.
And Pat does what creationists, are kind of allergic to doing, which is research. Makes them break out into hives. But also sending so much love to Pat Lowinger and also Dale Pastel. Dale reminds us we're looking for empirical evidence. The one kind of thing we don't ever get. In fact, sometimes when we ask for empirical evidence, they get, what's the word triggered? A little bit triggered. How dare you? Why am I even talking to you?
You're a ridiculous thing to ask, You're asking for the one thing God can't give you, so that's
and they just add an ist onto everything. Like empiricists, and I saw someone talking today with T-Jump, and
or an ism like science.
T-Jump goes by the empiricist label, but he goes by I want something that wants novel, testable predictions, which is what science. And I think he's good. This definition is basically an anti nails, and every time he kept on trying to just slither away. He'd be like, okay, what's your standard? And he'd be like, yeah, my standard is oneness. Oneness. Whoa, 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 whoa. What a great standard. But yeah.
He jumps likes his novel testable prediction.
But as soon as he would say that, as soon as that definition would hit it up against the wall, he just would go, well, you're just an empiricist anyway. You're just using empiricist things. And so, yeah, we want people to actually have a way of, not being bullshit artists. Like, I'm not saying, the dude had doctor in front of his name. I'm sure he was very sophisticated, but it just sounds like a normal snake oil
have we ever ran into anybody who uses the title of doctor who maybe doesn't know what they're talking about?
Sorry, something got stuck in my throat. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if someone's going to call themselves a doctor, then they must know what they're talking about, right?
They must, clearly. Well, he spent, I'm pretty sure 2 decades teaching at Creationist Bible University.
Oh.
What is up, Doc Fearsome?
South Central.
Big Bad Mama.
South Central Midwestern Tennessee Bible College.
Exactly. They're accredited by the Bible itself. But also sending love to Dale Pastel, sending love to Dave Gar. He's out there. Woo! Sending love to Dave Gar, reminding us that thick earth. Another thing that triggers James, what is with all the flat earth creationists? I think it's we bring it on ourselves. Maybe it's me. It's me.
I don't know. But it definitely seems to be a correlation between the two. Just an observation, but you believe one crazy thing, you might start to believe others.
There's indeed suckers born every day. And yes, if that's the thing with not being a skeptic, if you just... It seems like the opposite side to empiricism, although not a true dichotomy. The rival just seems to be, well, my gut said so. And listen, I think you should follow your gut often in just regular lay life. But when dealing with science, your gut's wrong a lot. We get things wrong all the time. So,
we do?
Oh. Yes, indeed we do. And so you have to have some sort of methodology to discovering fact from fiction. Sending so much love, Dave Gar. James, did you know a book said a thing? I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, we have an objective standard.
Objective.
God wrote everything down. He told us exactly what we need to know.
That's true. If you call yourself Dr. Jena, you should be a paleontologist, or you should be studying dinosaurs. You would think, not basically saying that the Flintstones were a documentary. That may not go over well.
Well, the Bible clearly says God made all the animals in one day. That had to include the dinosaurs. Suck it, science.
Woo, sending that so much love, Dave Gar. And it is great. It feels good to grow the channel, get all these new shows, as well as our fantastic ones like this, more open mics. Doing it all, baby. Sending so much love because of you guys and gals. But send love to Scott Duke, reminding us that...
to be able to talk to you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Privilege and honor, guys and gals. And they, just to trigger as many creationists as I can, all of the androgynous or in-between genders, sending so much love, and I hope that makes someone...
Two genders. God made them male and female.
Can I tell you?
And it doesn't change. It's born with penis, boy. Born with vagina, girl. That's it. Nothing else makes sense.
Listen, we only teach the McRib theory of human evolution here. Women came from one very specific man. At a great deal.
One very
very tasty deal that is only on sale now and may not even be on sale soon. I was talking with someone the other day. It's like, I'm fairly sure the reason why the McRib, they're saying it's not going to come back is because whatever animal they were harvesting it from has died, has gone extinct.
Extinct?
Yes, wow. That or it was Soylent Green. One or the other. I'll still be in line, folks. I'm still getting one till the very last one. I don't know what it's doing to my colon, but sending love to Scott Duke. Sending love to Rechos.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you so much, Rechos. Reminds us we have a Skeptic Bible study. It's coming up on Doc. We're done Deuteronomy. Holy moly. We put that back on the shelf.
Torah, the Tanakh. is done.
No, wait, James. Bring me back in. I always want to go back to James Cameron.
Thank you so much, James Wolfe.
But who is James Cameron when he's not directing? James Camera Off. Woo! Thank you so much, James.
Thank you, James.
I agree.
So
he gets a little camera shy off. But also sending so much love to Regos and the wonderful, fabulous, and amazing, the one and only Rachel Holland.
Don't be moving into the book of Joshua. That's the next book.
Oh,
so.
We're both gonna be moving into Joshua. I hope you get what I mean, or maybe he'll be moving into me.
The Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings. This will be like 5 years from now. 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles.
There's just Ezra, so much wisdom.
Nehemiah, Esther. Oh my gosh, Amy. We're gonna be up to our balls in Bible before we know it.
In Bible. And hey, like I said, one day I was having someone say today,
even do the Catholic Bible. Oh, that's even more books.
Even do the Catholic. The availability rib follows fluctuations in pork prices. They only offer it when pork is cheap enough to sell at the price they want to make a profit. That sounds like the completely actual rash. I'm still going with the possible other option of it's people, but nonetheless.
Can you imagine like over on the Islamic channels, like they're talking about that as like the prime plague problem that's facing the world is that pork prices are down, so pork consumption is up. What the hell is going to happen? The world's going to hell. People are eating more McRibs. They're bringing it back.
How dare! I mean, it must be a defeat. Like they're allowing alcohol at all.
It's the worst thing in the world. There's more people eating pork. Like,
speaking of which, I think I'm gonna go back on. He's still live. He's live. He was just on. He's still. I think he's separated from his masters.
I don't see them anymore.
Yeah,
I see Friendly Muslim on with him a lot. That's about it.
Which we're kind of biased. I think I am. I kind of like Friendly Muslim. I was saying the other day, which is
he's a nice guy. He's a good
not anything to do with his personality, but if looks anything like his icon, then he's pretty adorable and he has a good personality. So
I think he said that he doesn't go on camera because because he's able to do more, be on more content without having to constantly stop and get himself ready for camera.
Well, I understand why having like an icon, like instead of a picture, like I like this because it would be really weird to have like a picture of me just like in every video. That would just be like a little bit too much.
Too much.
And
Newman.
so too much Newman. But I like our cute chibi emojis. You can use them in banners and stuff, stuff like that. But yes, I'm gonna go back on there. Maybe talk with him. I can't help it. It's going to be part of probably Impromptu Debate You. In fact, what I think I'll do is I'll go on when I go on these other channels. There's no reason why I can't just screen scare. Oh, James, so how we're going to work it, I think in my head is that, and I'll probably do a lot when it first comes out, then it'll calm down, but I'm going to plan it and I'll give you like a few hours heads up. And then I'll just give you the link. And then if you want to, you can just pop in with me. You'll be the only one. There is only room for up to 4 people to join us. But hopefully, but hopefully it's really just going to be the both of us for the most part. I get the feeling there's going to be people that are going to want to hop off of Discord and be like, no, just let me come in. Come on, let me come in. And so I
agree with you there, Pat. I agree with you there, Pat.
I don't trust anyone who uses only an icon.
Only.
And so,
if you never
are
willing to show your face,
sure.
I mean, if you hide behind an icon all the time, that's little suspect.
I also think that there's like this rule of thumb that you either hide who you are, or you put out who you are. I like the latter. I think obviously you do too, Pat. I think that's what most of us, because there's nothing to hide. The only reason I would hide is if you're an ex-Muslim. Then I completely understand why you would hide your face. I don't understand why a current Muslim would hide their face. They got nothing to worry about. I guess if you're a Shia in a Sunni country or a Sunni in a Shia country. But, religion, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, Pat, I completely agree. In fact, I've seen this in numerous channels, especially with impromptu ones, that like they'll have you at least show your camera before they let you go on live, like before they bring you on to the panel to prove that you're not a troll or whatever. You can still be a troll with the camera, but at least it's a little bit of a filter. I saw something
as we found
else,
when we get new people in the back with no icon or with no camera, just an icon. It's always very you never know what you're going to get.
There's this hot brand of, unfortunately, Christian nationalism that they like to have a whole framework around Godwin's law. I was trying to think what would be above a law. Technically a theory, actually, because you use facts to create theories. But that tends to be their guy. And so I just like being able to not troll them, but, you know, I like being everything that they hate, but legitimately, like, not even trolling. Like, just me existing is just so much. And so it kind of pleases me.
It's a lot for them to handle.
What is up, Overnator? I get it. People who don't hide their face are less likely to be trolls, but there are so many legit reasons why people who are not trolls who are hiding their face. Sure. Well, I would say, I mean, the best I would still say is that example. Let me tell you that if you have someone coming after you, like a religious group, but if I think James said it, what is up, Nick? Woohoo! See, I joke that Nick has been really hot because of the war, but then it always comes back to me that I guess news, really, there's always something. So that's kind of why it's new. Though I'm a little bit biased. There's the sports team war, and the team I like has been kicking butt slowly but surely. It hasn't been a good time for dictators. Not at all. I hope that other countries take heed of this too. I don't want to point out who they are, but one of their leaders, he's just, oh bother, he just loves honey so much. He just loves it. And he has in control of a country. I was like a half of Mickey Mouse, but yeah, those countries don't like bullies. Just not a fan. What is up? I think we said completely DS. I think, we were talking, that was why you were talking about Iwe Dawa, because we're going to go back on there. Hopefully they've been treating you well. No wonder you said the chat has been harassing you and not the panel, because the panel's gone. Now that makes sense. He's probably a lot
Training
chiller.
wheels are off.
Exactly. Do you like music group revivalists? Music group revivalists, as in like the religious groups? Yes, a schmootin and a knee. I was lurking like 20, 30 minutes ago. But because I was lurking, I also was like, hey, he's by himself. Yeah, that's right. Listen, if you're going to have a suit that fancy, you gotta expect the tomatoes to land somewhere, right? Where else would the dry cleaning bill go? And I used to go on all the time, completely DS. I used to be on there a lot because I used to have a good time. I used to have a good. They had Jake the Metaphys on there. I dumbfounded him. It was fantastic. He had never. I feel like he'd never heard pushback from the contingency argument ever. He didn't argue with me.
We did like one of his videos a long time ago.
He was dumbfounded.
We did one of his videos a long time ago. We should do one again.
We should. We need to put more Muslims in the hot seat, especially since we've already defeated Judaism and Christianity. So, might as well get on to the other targets eventually. The Christians always like to complain. You pick on us. You pick on the Christians. You're just anti-Christian. Cry about it. No, it's all about all of the religions. The fundies really is our main targets. If you think that Applegate is real and that a snake was able to convince a woman and then a man to, I don't know, overturn the will of a god, that's more on you. All right.
Billions of people to an eternity in hell. Yeah.
But he loves you. # he loves you. We got so far off, I completely forgot. We were sending all the love. Senator Cato, sending so much love. Separation of church and state is amazing. Not only now, but it's going to be in the future, whether you're a theist or an atheist, because chances are you don't want to live in the Handmaid's Tale. Though I'm sure there are some Christians that are like, yes. Sending love to James Wolfe. We saw him out there. James is a big supporter. All of our stuff. We're sending so much love, so much name to you. We're howling at the moon for you and sending that love back. And we also are sending love to Ian Davenport.
Ian, thanks, Ian.
Our hearts, which remind us that heart and a watch do not look alike. Do these look? Do you notice the subtle difference?
I mean, no.
Yeah, none at all.
Design requires
what is up, pseudonym? What is up?
Tighten
your anus. Exactly. You need to have that watchmaker to have a watch. But then everything would be watches. You would have nothing natural or artificial. It would all be one just smorgasbord. But also sending love to last, but certainly not least, Matty! Woo! Reminding us that, well, scientists actually have models for how galaxies and solar systems and everything formed.
Oh, nobody's ever seen a star form. No, they have lines on paper. No one's ever seen. Actually, we're seeing so much now with the James Webb Space Telescope that we've never seen before. I mean, it pretty much is putting a lot of like those kind of silly arguments like that to rest. We know you can't look up in the sky and see a galaxy form in an hour, but you can't see things happening in all the various stages all over the universe. Of course, they're going, well, that doesn't count. You still have to believe in it because you can't sit there and watch it happen.
Our hearts will go on. They really will. Hopefully. Well, nope, that was just indigestion.
Where's Jack?
Jack, no.
Where is he?
I'll never go on without you. Oh, wait, he's gone? All right, there's a boat coming. I think someone ordered an Uber. Sorry, we're out.
Can I get some coffee or something? I'm fucking freezing my ass off. I guess Jack will get eaten by the fishes, maybe. The fish
Oh, you meant the actual fishes. Right.
The actual fishes, yeah.
But yes, thank you to all of our supporters, the ones who send in super chats, our channel members, our Patreons, but also our subscribers and viewers. You are who enable us to make all of this fun content. And with that, and before we get to the opposition viewpoint.
Uh-oh.
Oh my. You're saying they're
They have
better?
trouble?
Yo, I'll tell you. Because I swear, maybe I can win them over, baby. That's only half the reason I'm going over there. I mean, the other half is for good content. Oh my goddess. But like, I think he converted because of peer pressure. I think he was in a weird... We all get into like manipulatable moods where we feel like we've had an insight and then we kind of get love bombed, and it also becomes kind of almost hard to get out because of that. And so you kind of have to offer people olive branches. You kind of have to give people outs. Yeah.
Give them an out.
The hardest thing when dealing with any of these apologists is that they want to come to you as a teacher-student relationship. And you have to break them of that. You have to make it at least peers to have a civil conversation, because what they want to do is convert. That's how people like Darth work. That's how people like Kent works. And unfortunately,
Khalil.
even as empathetic as he is, that is how Khalil and all of the others work. Yes, it is. Oh, it is a textbook cult behavior.
It's manipulation.
Radically,
It's a form of manipulation.
yes.
Coercion.
I mean, he radically... My favorite thing is just looking at someone who like is trying to like dress all Arabian to someone who was born in an Arabian country that's wearing like an Adidas t-shirt. Like it's just a funny dichotomy.
When you see in the thumbnails like of some of his like content, he'll just be sitting there like with his beard out and his finger up like this. Just that image of it
thing, yeah.
An Islamic imam would. It's like, okay, I gotta dress up and do the thing like I'm an imam.
Yes, well, I mean, that is part of the shtick. That is, he will get respect. It's a culturally encouraged thing for men to have beards. And to even have long beards.
Sit there with their finger up
and yes, this is a...
like they're filming an ISIS video
this
with
symbol
somebody in the background
to
about
God.
to be beheaded or something of that nature.
What's up, computer? Says Islam is truth. Repent now. Stop lying to yourselves.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my.
Oh, boy.
That's right. Spicy. Yeah, but here's the thing. Help me out. How can Islam be the truth if A, God doesn't exist, B, Muhammad was not the last prophet, and C, prophets don't exist? Like, that makes, I feel like Islam come into like this just weird conundrum. Like, how can Islam be true when none of the claims in it are? Yeah.
If there are no prophets. If there
there
were
were
no prophets after
Muhammad,
but there were no prophets before Muhammad either. There were no prophets when Muhammad was alive, because has never been a prophet.
And see, I don't assume. James and I are both lack theists. That is true. We do lack belief in a God. We don't have good evidence for a deity to exist. However, I would say I am all about James jokes, but I've seen good articles that I kind of have this like beard measuring thing that there is a good length of beard. And not only do I know this, there's
really a
good
joke.
statistical...
It's the preference you have. It is what you know.
Well, can I tell you, it's not only just a preference, it is a statistical preference. And so that doesn't mean anything.
Lots
that doesn't
of
mean
other
it's
women
right.
agree.
Yes, exactly. That doesn't mean it's true.
Where there tends to be what they think of would be appropriate.
It just tends to be like there's a certain point. So like no facial hair tends to be like kind of in the middle range, but then like a little bit of facial hair actually tends to get more attractive. And it tends to get like more attractive up until a plateau. And then like once a beard gets like too long,
then it goes
it
starts
tends
going
to drop
rapidly
off.
downhill.
Yes, exactly. I can't help it. We should be normalizing atheism, though. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Sending love out there to you, Pasta. Because that's kind of the theme. I will say we'll about to be going into our openings, which are very short.
We are.
But I don't think that this video, that the opposition viewpoint, is necessarily a clickbait, because he does eventually get to it, and he does say the title by name at least once. However, just know that the amount of like, if you're looking for like the hellfire burning of gays, it gets replaced with just absolute dorkiness, in my opinion. So
this particular pastor, we've had him in the hot seat, I think, about 2 months, 3 months back, but he's a little bit more subtle than a lot of the other pastors you hear from. But even still, there is some stuff that you can unpack from what they're saying, even if they don't sound like they're rabid, foaming at the mouth, Matt Powell, execute the gays and burn the transgenders and whatever. Even when they seem more reasonable, you can still unpack a lot of bullshit from what they're saying.
Send in love, computer. You're like restating the claim, but like, why? Why is it the truth? Help me out.
Like when you ask the Christian,
help
like,
you.
How do you know the Bible is true? Oh, because it's true. Yeah, but how do you know? Oh, well, the Bible's true. Yeah, but how do you know it's true? Well, because the Bible's true. Oh, well, okay, all right.
See, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now sponsored by Manscaped.
Me either.
I really do hope one day we get a sponsor, like a legit readout sponsor, because I want to Bill Burr it. This is also my time. We've done James Cameron. There you go. Bill Burr.
Okay. All right. You did it. You did it.
But okay.
Sponsored by Grindr.
That's right. Matt Powell
with a Batman. And the logo is Matt Powell fucking Batman.
Oh my! That's a porn I need to see.
Well, there you go.
But yes,
before Mr. Batman hopes.
Well, I'm sure he has
hopes
seen.
He was saying, "Ooh, Matt Powell." They like Matt Powell over there. They the Christians who pretend, the gay Christians who pretend.
What I've realized why they like him, because I thought about it. I think P-Town, who was on EA Dawa, was like, "Oh yeah," or someone, and one of the Christians was like, "Oh yeah, Matt Powell, he's such a lovely young gentleman." We're like, Matt Powell, the degenerate, reprobate, everything that comes out of his mouth is basically horrific. That Matt Powell. Stop this foolishness. I have to say,
probably execute
that
30%
basically
of
sounds
America overnight
like you are a supervillain right there. Stop this foolishness. All right, you want to fight? Well then, a fight we shall have. No. Send in love, computer.
I mean, between Islam and the bacon, I mean, Islam's going to be a hard sell for her. I'm sorry.
Oh, exactly. I'm not religious for bacon reasons, and so...
Come on. They could Muhammad could have picked anything, any food to ban, but...
However, I wasn't going to convert to Islam, but he was nice, and so I do have to say, you're getting me there a little bit closer, that one. I know. Sending you so much love, computer. But okay. Enough fun. Let's get to the fun.
Let's get to it. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. The
The
real
meat
deal.
and those potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. From Rugrats, I think. Yes. Yes. What is up, ladies and gents? And da. There's no such thing as atheism? Well, no. There is. I'm right here. Hi. However, one day, there may not be an atheism. Because there won't be a theism. That is to say, there won't be a massive amount of people who think a God exists. Sure, there has to be someone out there in the big, very round earth who thinks unicorns exist. Though there isn't a massive unicorn movement because this meme has not gone viral. And I do mean meme in the non-ironic way. Richard Dawkins defines a meme as a single unit of culture. These often get boiled down into single ideas, and most of us are familiar with online memes, which makes sense. This is the online era. But religion or belief in a God is how we used to explain the world. We didn't know where rain came from, so we sacrificed something or someone to appease them. We didn't know how lightning formed, so we assumed it had to be a being like Odin in the sky. And we didn't know how the universe came to be. So there must have been a creator like Yahweh. But these are all wrong. We know how the water cycle works. We know how negative charges in the bottom of the cloud are attracted to the positive charges in the ground. And that currently we can only go back to the Big Bang, looking at the microwave background radiation. But we have no reason to think any of these came from beings, agents, consciousnesses that transcend both time and space, let alone not having a physical body. At the end of the day, God seems like a plot device, a deus ex machina. Literally. We have no reason to think these beings exist, or that anything supernatural or paranormal does either. So, when someone says there's no such thing as atheism, I have to giggle, because that sounds like someone in denial. If this deity wants us to know they exist, well, they had one job, and they things up badly. Thank you. And all right,
Conversation is being recorded.
sir, we're gonna have to shut this down. But yes, before we get into the opposition viewpoint, we want to know, Gizmo and James W., we are Skeptic and Ranting. Is there really no such thing as atheism?
Yeah, if you think we don't exist, well, hey, what can we do? Except prove to you the otherwise. But yeah, like I was saying before, we've heard from this pastor, I believe, once before. We're going to hear from him again. Last time we heard from this particular pastor, he was talking about dangers of apostasy and how you don't even want to start thinking about non-belief. You don't even want to entertain it for a second, because if you do that, God might get spiteful and God might just make it so you can't believe anymore. God might take your faith from you as soon as you start flirting with the idea that he's not real, as soon as you start even considering or entertaining our arguments that maybe he doesn't exist. Maybe that'll make him mad, and maybe he will make it so that you won't be able to believe him anymore. But be that as it may, we do think it is a good idea to be willing to question your beliefs, to be willing to take a look at why you believe what you believe, and determine if you have good reasons for what you believe and what you don't believe. And I think that's kind of like one of the main themes that we like to hit on here, is why people believe what they believe, why they don't believe certain things, why we don't believe certain things. And yeah, we do run into this issue. It comes up from time to time where we're told, especially those of us who were religious at one point, most of us were Christians at one point, and we're told that we couldn't have been. It's impossible that we could have been Christians, because the Bible says that if you really believe, you'll endure to the end. You don't believe anymore, so therefore you never believe. And I always say that this is just one more confirmation. It's just one more snippet of evidence that the Bible's wrong, because it says that it would be impossible for us to have believed and not believe, yet we know for a fact that we did believe, and we know we don't believe anymore. So therefore we know that's just one more indication to us that it's not true. And yeah, that's really all we need to know. There we go. So let's get on with the video, Newman.
Woohoo! And with that, we are now...
Do it to us.
Do it to us, baby. Let's give me 1 second here.
Get this pastor queued up.
All right, and with that, we are now going to move into the opposition viewpoint with a video from Village Church. Yeah, we can do a 1.25. See if it sounds.
You guys
weird,
can, if it's too bad. Well, last time it was bad, but we had to slow it down.
But we are watching There Is No Such Thing as Atheism, John
that last 15, video was a
1
doozy.
through 11. Well, he actually was fairly quick speaking, but yes, it actually was quite a doozy. And we're in for some more fun. Welcome, everyone. Keep on tagging us at James W. and Amy Newman, but we're jumping into it. There's no such thing as atheism.
Welcome to Village Church. We're committed to seeing people transformed into fully devoted followers of Jesus. We do this through focusing on gospel.
Oh,
just
lovely.
I know a lot of people are like numb to that statement. It's just always so culty. We're just looking to make you like one of us.
It's not like the Borg. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. You will be a Christian. You will praise Jesus.
Serve Jesus. You will be on your knees. Oh my! I didn't know I was going to be on my knees. I mean,
well, in that case, hey, where did she sign up?
Community and
assimilate away.
Learn more about us at thisisvillagechurch.com.
I guess Village Church was taken, so they had to.
Welcome to
They had to
Village
go-
Church.
This
everyone.
is-
My name is Fanu, and I have the privilege of being one of the
Hey,
pastors
Fanu.
here at Village, providing leadership and strategy to our church planting movement in the Greater Toronto area. And welcome to all of you from across all of our locations and online. And if you are new with us today, a special welcome to you. We've been going
Why,
through the
thank
gospel
you.
over the
Lovely
past
to have
Canadian
you.
Christian. We should almost have Randolph.
and I am so thrilled to unpack verse 1 to verse 11 with all of you. But before we do that, I want to share a bit of a story with you guys, something that happened to me, a little terrifying story actually that happened to me just yesterday. So I flew in from Toronto.
How terrifying.
Like, I don't know, 6:30 in the morning, and got to Vancouver Airport and picked up my rental car and was on the way driving to Surrey. And I happened to be on Highway 91. Some of you locally will know where that is. I was on Highway 91 and my car had a mechanical
He just
issue.
doxed himself.
And
That's
because of the
okay.
mechanical issue, I had to pull over to the side of the highway on the shoulder and call the car rental company and basically ask for roadside assistance. And so they took my information and they basically said to me, you know what, just hang tight. We will get back
You
to
don't
Call
exist.
back in-
They said you
Also,
don't exist.
if you think that the dad stories are going to get any better from here, oh, you just wait. The dad stories,
He's just getting
they go
warmed
from
up.
here to here.
Yeah,
mean,
he's
in
just
a few
warming
minutes,
himself
10
up.
or 15 minutes. So I was pretty cool with that because there was a beautiful day yesterday and the AC's on in the car and I'm feeling good. I'm sort of hanging tight waiting for the phone call. And of course, cars and
Ring,
trucks are
ring.
going past me just a few feet away from me, you know, at 100 kilometers, 110 kilometers an hour. But I'm feeling pretty safe in my car until I look up in my rearview mirror. And there's a car
there's
that's like
Jesus.
barreling down the
Oh.
highway, and I was on this particular spot of the highway where there was this curve, like the Highway 91 was curving around, and this car, I guess to some extent, lost a little bit of control and began to move into the shoulder. So when I look up and I look at my rearview mirror, all I see is this vehicle at like 100 kilometers an hour or so coming straight at my parked car. Guys, I cannot express to you what you feel. I mean, nothing in life prepares you for a moment like that. I mean, all I can
Can we pause only when he says atheism rather than when he makes a statement that has nothing to do with religion? Well, I would say that then we wouldn't be able to do commentary. It'd be hard. Like if we took a shot
Try not
every
to
time
stop
he
too
says
often.
the word, every time that he said the word atheist, we would all be safe to drive home. Very safe.
And that's not
Which
good.
is what, yes.
We don't want to be
so.
safe.
Like I said, we're kind of unclickbaiting this video because this dude, he says it, he talks about it, like I said, in the middle, and then right towards the end, just like he kind of Xenos us with, he gets very allegorical with the vine cutting and everything, but yes, he only says us out by name once
We'll
or
get to it,
twice.
guys.
it's like panic sets in, right? And it was only a few seconds. And before I knew it, just a couple of seconds before impact, this car pulls back onto the highway and misses my vehicle by maybe, I don't know, a few inches, or maybe a foot or something. I mean, it was right there. It was almost like I could feel it.
I'll pick up your.
Saw the car.
You know what? Don't worry. I thought that was what's it called? That's interesting, computer. You're taking a break. For a second, I thought that was completely, and I was like, I would completely understand that because their chat can be less empathetic than the empathetic Muslim. But why are you taking a break? Now I'm interested.
Car go past me and I'm shaking. I mean, when something like that happens, adrenaline is rushing through your body and I'm shaking and I'm like,
Oh, such an
what's
adrenaline
happening?
rush. An
I
adrenaline
began to
junkie
think to
this guy
myself,
is.
what if? Like, you know, last time I preached, I talked to you guys about my worst case scenario problem, right? So I'm going like, what if? What
The
if?
point of this story is that you are stuck in a grocery line and he just keeps on going on and on and on. And you're like, I just want to get deli. I want a little bit of turkey, maybe a little bit of ham. And he just keeps on going on and on and on. And you smile because you don't want to be rude, but you just don't give up.
Like the lady who comes up to me at work and says that the police are following her and taking pictures of her and they're stalking her and that they're trying to shoot her from the car. Like, yes, yeah, I'm sure that they are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, it's also
Yeah.
like my aunt. My aunt has been like, she says that, you know, Mossad was after her and the CIA and, you know, all these the
totally.
world leaders and all this. And
They're
it's just
totally
like,
after you.
yes.
The only reason you're alive, you must have like some super spy skills like Liam Neeson, you know, to dodge all
Well,
these assassins.
Can I
coming
tell
at
you, I feel really bad. there's like a 99% chance that she's not watching this, but she is like an 80-year-old wheelchair-bound woman. And so I do love the fact that she thinks that she is basically on
the target of
I'm
world
trying
leaders.
to think, because as much as she is, she's world traveled. She's done more world traveling than you and I have done in the past year or two. That it doesn't even begin. She's been kicked out of 2 countries. And how do you get kicked out of Canada? How do you get kicked out of Canada? God damn it. But I love my aunt. She's sweet and a genius. So if you're out there, Mazel tov. She's the only person who gives me a run for my money in degrees, both undergrad and postgrad, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. But there is no such thing as atheism. We're having fun.
At 37 years old, on the shoulder of Highway 91.
That's how long it takes to tell the story. You have to, from start to finish. You'll be 37 years old.
Richmond, BC. Sorry, guys, I just had to go there. My mind just went there. I was like, what if that was it? What if my life would end or my life would change in a drastic way forever? What would I think about how I'd spent my life? Not my preaching life, not my church life, not my ministry life. I'm talking about all of my life. I'm talking about how I treated people, how I worked in my local community, how I served my wife, how I cared for my children, how I fulfilled the mission of God of my life, how I lived day in and day out. Would I be proud of the person I had become and what I had accomplished in my life up until this point?
And yes, she did. You know how like a bunch of Americans will be like, fuck this, I'm moving to Canada. Yeah, she did. And you can't do that though to another country. Like, it's that, but like not even the mentality of sneaking in there. Just going there and saying, mine now. But, you know, whatever. I mean, she was on the run from presidents who personally were targeting her. But both presidents that I dislike and both presidents I like and dislike. Like, it doesn't matter.
This is the kind of thing that Jesus is talking about in this text. He's talking to us about the idea of him being the vine and us being the branches. And he's talking about this imagery of bearing fruit. And basically what he's saying is, hey, does your life actually indicate that you are connected to me? Are you doing something with your life? Not your church life. I'm not talking about the hour and a half that you spend here in this auditorium on a Sunday.
What are we even doing here? I'm here for brownie points for up there. Do you understand why we're here? You know why I'm wearing a bow tie and my wife is wearing a pretty dress? Jesus.
Yeah, hey.
I'm talking about Monday to Saturday. I'm talking about what it means for you to live as a follower and a disciple of Jesus, that the world looks at you and says, guess what? I see something different in you. And this is what Jesus is challenging us about. I love following Jesus for this reason, because the philosophies of the world, the religious traditions of the world talk about a God who is transcendent, a God who is removed and far away, a God doesn't really...
Also notice, we're about to hit minute 5. We're still sober, right? We're all still sober?
We're still pretty sober, yeah.
Just pointing that out.
Who doesn't really care about the intricacies of your life, and yet the Bible talks about
Who knows?
God.
Maybe he didn't name this. It was like someone, I swear, the PR book. Now, like I said, he is going to talk about it. He does Xeno us and get there eventually. But I feel like it's his PR director that chose this title.
A Jesus who wants to know how you spend your money, how you spend your time, how you can optimize your talents, your giftings, your treasure, your time, your ability, your loves, your cares.
It's really all about Jesus.
All of the stuff that he's placed within you. He's like, I want to maximize.
Oh, that's okay. I was hoping he wanted like to try anal, but that works too.
What I've placed in your life. And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
We're
going to talk about
we can finally come to agreement.
Bear fruit for Jesus. That Jesus has a vision for our life. That his life, his death, his resurrection, his ascension all mean not that one day we will have eternal life in heaven, but that today we will live a life that is different because of what Jesus is doing in and through us right now. You know, when you talk to people who have left the faith, they often talk about hypocritical Christians. They talk about, I went to church and I expected this, but it wasn't quite what I expected. And sometimes that's a fair point. And what Jesus is saying here today is, you don't actually get the right to be, to claim something that you really are not. So you can't say that you're connected to the vine as a branch, but you don't produce fruit. He says, no. There's got to be a progression. I'm not saying it's got to be overnight. I'm not saying
you all been
everything
on
about your life
Vine?
has got to change and transform in a moment. But there's got to be a progression. When you look back 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, however long you've been following
In your
Jesus,
vision
you
board.
can see a progression of faith and love and hope and peace and impact in the world around you because
Throw whatever
of Jesus in
sticks.
your life. I love what one writer says.
What?
He says, God created me
Whoa. Because of Jesus. All of those things because of Jesus. Okay, get us there.
and you to live with a single, all-embracing, all-transforming passion, namely a passion to glorify God by enjoying and
Glorify God. There you
Oh,
go.
baby.
in all
That's what it's all about,
spheres of
Amy.
life. His supreme excellence in every sphere
on
of
your
your
knees.
life. That's what we're talking about today. Listen, guys, if I look a
Are
little
we?
excited today
I
when
have
I'm preaching,
no
I
idea what we're talking about, but I mean, keep on going.
gotta tell you, after
Glory to
yesterday,
God, Amy.
Glory to God.
so just
I'm
give me
so
a break.
happy.
Let me do my thing, okay? Let me just talk to you
We're-
guys. 'cause
we're giving it
I am
to you.
so
There you go.
thrilled that, and I just thought about it. It's like, thank you, Jesus, for another
Thank
day.
you,
I know
Jesus.
it's so
Actually, instead of thanking Jesus, we're going to thank Peebo. Just take a moment to think. This guy is recounting his trauma moment at 37 of some anecdotal side of the road encounter. Yeah.
Amy's had a few of those.
Oh, I've had.
Anecdotal side of the
It may
road.
not. After enough anecdotal evidence, it may be. But yes, it seemed extremely random, and it wasn't life-threatening. It was like, oh my God, this what? I thought that a car was going to hit me out of nowhere at 60, 70, 100 miles an hour. But then I saw Becky. No, Becky, don't move your car at 3 miles an hour. No. Oh my God, Becky, that's going to be an entire day's worth of phone calls or something. Wow.
It reminds me of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Dave Gar will know. Mitchell, when they're merging onto the highway and the dramatic music is playing, and they're just fucking merging onto the highway. Like, they're trying to dramatize something we've all done dozens of times.
Well, it's the
hot merging action.
It's the fisherman's tale that these types of stories naturally, you caught a fish that was this big. You're talking about it. The thing was giant. By the time you get home, you caught a fucking thing this big. It barely fits, while you're trying to get it through the door.
Barely fits, Amy. Yeah,
barely fits. But keep on pushing.
Have you had some of those
You'll
stories?
get it there. I'll have I.
Them stories. Yeah.
But yes, this isn't exactly the spiciest trauma dark seed of his heart. I got in a car accident. It bummed me out. I had a moment in my life. I'm like, what am I even doing? I don't know. Maybe spending too long a time in parking lots. I don't know.
While we're here,
While I'm queer.
Another one.
Peebo for $10 when people on the internet like Security Monitor Lizard have been actually shot at, I think, in the Middle East. So guess which one of the atheists of these two examples? Yeah, I would say the fact that we can't exist in 16 countries might be a sign that, I love that. If we don't even exist, you would think they wouldn't have to ban us, right? It's like the countries that say that both that gays do not exist and we are banning all promotion of
And you'll be executed.
gay lifestyle, yes. So it's a twofer.
You don't exist, and we're going to execute you.
Exactly. You don't exist because once we find you, you're not going to exist. But sending so much love, Vivo, for you sending all of the love right back at us. I have a goal one day, and,
To be sent
if
to
they're
death.
they're writing an obituary one day, maybe this will be the episode where they're like, oh, we knew here, but I want to step foot in all 16 countries where atheists are banned. That is one of my
Be sentenced to death in all of them.
Woo! You call it. It's fatwas are like Pokemon. You gotta catch them all.
Yeah, there you go.
So
atheist gay tranny on.
I now want to make a fatwa world tour.
Wanted posters all over Saudi Arabia, Iran. Pakistan,
but don't worry, I'll
everywhere.
go to Christian countries. I want to go to the south of the United States and all this fun stuff. But let's get back to Captain Dad Pants over here. We are talking about there is no such thing as atheism. And once again, thank you so very much, Peebo, for all the continued love.
Sounds so simple, and yet, guys, we don't think about it.
So
It
simple.
could be any moment.
In fact, all you basically have to do is add water, put it in the oven, and boom, a meal for your whole family. I almost said a family for your whole meal, but I think at that point you're a zombie. Or
Most likely.
related to Jesus, I assume.
Was down a couple of months ago, just lost his younger brother. I think in his late 20s, early 30s, 2 little kids. Unexpected, shocking. You just never know.
Never know,
Jesus here speaks, and he says, let's work through this together. He says,
yes,
I can kill you at any time, Jesus.
Right there, look at this. I am. Ego and me.
Can I tell you that there is no better bullshit artist than the apologist? Like, I am that I am. Gonna sit here and talk about the words I am. Like, man.
Doesn't
man,
actually
oh, man.
mean anything. It conveys nothing of intelligence, but sounds very prophetic. It sounds very
deepity.
Very impressive.
Or a classic witch getting ready for the coven meeting. Yeah. Hey, happy Day of the Dead to everybody out there.
Here for our Halloween episode.
Halloween. Yes, well, I've also noticed that that theists react, especially the Christian variety, have been reacting to that Ouija board. Like, the Ouija board has a pentagram. My Inner Circle Atheist thing has a pentagram. I would say just enough pentagrams. It does. It freaks them. And then they're like, evidence of Satan.
You're kind of a Baphomet.
I am. Oh, James. Can you stand right there?
Oh,
yeah,
you got
like,
it.
Where can I go?
Oh, here we go. All right, guys. You all know she gets quite a few deliveries in the mail. They had to open up an Amazon warehouse just for her packages coming in for all her props and whatnot.
I can't help it. I got that because Bubbles said that this is, for people who don't know, if you want to know what the most accurate scientific instrument is, people may not be aware, but I have in front of you the most scientific instrument here. Just a nice Ouija board to figure out what's going on in the spiritual realm. I assume. And then I've had, speaking of impromptu debate you, I have had a friend. A friend or two in one of the Discord channels that likes to call me a tranny Bahamut, or as my first name, Bahamut. Tranny Bahamut was really my mother. I like to be a little bit more formal. Just call me Bahamut. But and they even will say, like, the first transgender, Bahamut. Like, clearly. And so I could not help myself, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of
put yourself on full screen.
You got, that's true. If everyone wants to know where your support and love is going to, well, it turns out that I delivered, ladies and gentlemen. I gave birth as a transgender Bahamut, and I would like to show you all to Bahamut Jr., everyone.
Oh,
isn't he adorable?
Oh, that is so adorable.
If you would not sacrifice your soul to Bahamut Jr., I mean, I don't think you even have a soul to begin with.
They don't.
He's such a good boy. That's right. Welcome, Bahamut.
Dave Gar says it's Baphomet, not Bahamut.
I know, you're right.
Dave Gar's triggered. You've triggered
Baphomet. I'm sorry. Well, and he is our overlord. I think I'm technically that. I'm also. It's like a trinity. I worship. Yeah. I can't even say it. You just said it. Baphomet. I worship Baphomet. I am Baphomet.
Yes.
I mean, I should be able to pronounce it if I am, reigning from all of hell.
You have sex with
I know.
Baphomet.
I can't even get my own name right. I mean, pathetic. But look, it's my first time running hell, okay? I mean, you only have so much help. There wasn't a how-to guide. I've been looking for YouTube guides, for days. I found great makeup tutorials, but none about how to run hell. But yes, enough about how hot things are down here. So cute. Just love to have him with us. And I want to thank all the lovers and haters out there. Oh, it's just all lovers. All lovers. Send in the love. Do-do-do. Because we're talking about there is no such thing as atheism. Oh, I know. That's true. Yo, big Final Fantasy fan. Please, please, please just keep Bahamut and Baphomet separate. Dave Gar is like, listen, I'm trying to think what they're called something very specific in Final Fantasy too. The little fucking jewels. The summon spells. Cloud would not be happy with me right now. I know. But I'm sending so much love, Dave Gar. And like I said, if I feel like I should get my own name right. What do you mean? Get into role-playing games. They have all sort of how-to books or all sorts of weird things. That's right. Oh, I love me some RPG games. Let me tell you, I like Dungeons and Dragons. I like Vampire the Masquerade. Trying to think. There's a good post-apocalyptic one. There's lots. There's a billion, but they're all fun. I've never DM'd before. That would be fun. What's up, Monkey for Banana? I like producing so much with the Gizmo that I think it'd be fun. I kind of like the improv nature of it. Is it mod night tonight? Free drink for mods. That's right, baby. Dad joke over here is buying everyone in the first round.
Jesus is beginning all of what he's talking about.
So
about how we live our life, how we serve God, how we
and
get
if I didn't say it before,
he said, let me tell you what the beginning of it is. The beginning of it is not you, it's me. See, that should give us hope. The beginning of it is not how you were raised. The beginning of it isn't how you lived your life before you came to Jesus. The beginning of it isn't if you have a good circle of friends.
Good game.
The beginning of it isn't like if you've got good genes. So, my parents can smoke, they didn't drink, so it's going to be easier for me to live a good life, a better life. No, it's not. It's not any of that. It doesn't start with you. It starts with him. Ego eimi, I am. This is the same word that God spoke to Moses in the wilderness, in the burning bush, when God appeared to Moses and said, I want you to go and free my people Israel from the power.
I must be somewhere in between. Because I played 8-9 years ago. Was my last. I would love to play more. I also was big. It was around the same time when the games were really hot. Hot.
Of Egyptian rule and Pharaoh. And Moses said, what do I tell them your name is? And in the Greek, in the Greek translation of the Old Testament, it uses the same word.
Just fuck around with Pharaoh.
He says, I am everything you'll ever need. I am everything you'll ever want me to be. I am God. It's not I was. It's not I will be. I am. Yesterday he was I am. Tomorrow he is I am. He never changes. He never turns. He never becomes different. Yeah. He is who he is. And he says, I am here for you. This is the call of Jesus. He's saying, I am the bread of life. And this is what he does in the Gospel of John. 7 times he makes I am statements. He says, I am the bread of life. He says, I am the light of the world. He says, I am the good shepherd. I am the door. I am the resurrection and life. I am the way, the truth.
I am about to have a conniption.
Yeah, really.
And the life.
I mean,
And
you
then
can
here
say
says,
he is
"I am
anything.
the true."
I am a potato.
He's not really
I mean-
saying anything.
Yeah. I am a dress. I am a rock.
I am Neo.
Yeah, there you go.
Fine.
I am James Cameron. I am Batman.
The idea is the all sufficiency of God. The source of all that we have is from the I am. This is why Jesus matters, guys. He's not just a good teacher. He's not just someone that gave you some principles. People try to be good and follow good principles all the time, and they fail.
Not even a good teacher. Yeah.
The Christian faith is not about being good. It's about having Jesus in your life. This is why Peter, the apostle,
I'd rather
says in
just
2
be
Peter
good, but
1,
thanks.
3, and 4, he says, his divine power has granted to us all things that pertain to life and godliness. Through the
I mean, can we just appreciate how weird it is to say you need to have a dead guy in your life? Like, it's so normalized within Christianity, but there's a guy, he died, he came back to, he's God, but, he's living out there in the eternal realm somewhere, waiting to have a relationship with you. Yahweh Tinder.
knowledge of him who called us to his own glory and excellence, by which he has granted to us his precious and very great promises. Listen. So
Very
that through
great promises.
you may be partakers of the divine nature. That you may be partakers of the divine nature. You can have the nature of God. You can have the power of God in you. That's the gospel message.
I'm happy he's happy. It's just so funny to be so happy.
He says, I am the true vine. Man, this imagery is beautiful. See, also the Old Testament.
He's literally, also, he catches himself 20 minutes into the video, and he's like, wow, I'm on the second sentence. Because look at this. He just had like a whole diatribe of the words "I am." This is how much bullshit they make up about this.
They put into this religion. You could take 2 words, 3 words, and you can talk for hours about them. How much they fucking hang on every word, every jot and tittle in there. They.
You better have a lot of good wine on that vine to make whatever you're saying make sense. I'll tell you that much.
Israel as being his vine, his vineyard, right? You talk about the idea of Israel being the vineyard that he had planted. But often it was in a negative context because Israel would never produce good fruit. Israel would produce bad fruit, God said, or no
also
fruit.
Say that's the one I've heard many. I think T-Jump has this. I would say that is my other... the only presupposition, one of the only presuppositions I know of is I think therefore I am. I think you can build a lot off of it. It is one of the few brute facts that I ever seem to come to agree with theists. It's that I would just like to say, I normally say you got one less presupposition than they do. But yeah, Yahweh, they tend to just be... I don't really know what he's talking about. I'd say spreading nonsense, but we're almost into his first line. And it's not just us taking a long time. We're about to be 11 minutes into the video, and he's not on line 1.
Look at Isaiah 5. It says this in verse 3. Now you dwellers of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more could I have done for my vineyard than I have done for it already? When I looked for good grapes, why did it yield only bad? Now I will tell you what I'm going to do to my vineyard. I will take away its hedge and it will be destroyed. I will break down its wall and it will be trampled. What Jesus is communicating here is God has replaced Israel with Jesus. It used to be that
they take like a vague reference in the New Testament, and then they go back to something in the Old Testament and they try to connect the two like it's all one sentence.
I also feel like you'd have a hard time living inside of Jesus. Like, kinky, but I mean,
talk about downside.
Try. I know. Maybe he's bigger on the inside. He's like the TARDIS, but I just don't feel like he's a good housing replacement.
Who would want to live inside you, Amy? But
like I said, every other night, James. Every other night.
Yeah.
Oh, please rate on the brute fact. You agree? If you're curious. Well, I would say the brute fact. I would actually say that wording. I would actually don't agree because that. I was looking, that seems to be a term of an early sociologist term. I know that some, what's it called?
Is it now a pejorative term?
Well, they sometimes, it tends to be a
Imprecise.
theist thing. I would say a presupposition rather than a brute fact. I'd say I have a presupposition that I think, therefore I am. It's the only presupposition that I can think
Unless you're
of.
dealing with Eddie.
Yes.
God's chosen people to belong to God. And now it's no longer that. It's no longer Israel, the people. It is Jesus. He is the true vine. He is the one that we connect our life to.
Drink off of Jesus?
Men and women who
can swing off of Jesus? I like to climb Jesus.
Branches of this one stalk that now bears good fruit. If you want to bear good fruit, if you want your life to have an impact, if you want your life to have meaning and purpose and hope, and you want to do something that is going to change the world around you for the better, the best.
Are you trying to tell me the Bible is like American Horror Story? It all makes sense now.
The way you can do that is to connect to the true vine.
It also
the
would
idea of the vine,
explain Yahweh.
think about it for a moment, is the branch. It draws sustenance from the vine, right? That's the imagery. Like life is pulsating through the vine and it's flowing through the branch.
Pulsating.
It's pulsating.
What vine
the blood
do
is
you
just
take,
churning down there.
Receive sustenance from? Like where is your sustenance? What brings you joy? What brings you pleasure? What brings you excitement? What causes you to get
Wendy's?
Ice cream?
Sustenance, yeah. Wendy's.
Man, I am so happy.
A reach around?
To be alive today. I am so happy that I get to do this life today. Is it the stuff of the world? Is it your
also,
money? Is it your
ladies
home?
and gentlemen, please notice how sober we are. I don't know about this guy, but like us for the term atheism.
We haven't been having to pound them back yet.
It's not just our title. Look at this title. It's right there. We're not hallucinating. ATHEISM. No, right there. English. Yep. We're good.
ASMR.
Is it your job? Is it your family? Is it all of those things? Or is it Jesus?
Like
definitely not
whole
Jesus.
Bunch of non-connecting things, and he just it's like those commercials where it's like blowing in the wind, woman's hair, people's skin and goosebumps rising, a piece of trash falling, people screaming, and then just a close-up. Jesus. What?
It's a woman on a boat with big tits drinking a beer. Her tits are big.
Okay, like, that's a commercial.
In a bailing
what are we
suit.
talking about?
No, it was from a movie called Big Trouble with Tim Allen, where he's an
Tim
executive.
Allen's about to make a what's it called? Another movie. The Christmas movie, not surprisingly. What were you saying?
Claus 7.
Santa Claus is 2 or something? It's some sort of Christmas movie. Peebo with another $5. Thank you so much for the love and support. Woo! We're gonna keep on getting all more.
Let's do it.
I am working on possibly a Christmas surprise. We had a Gilbert. Gizmo and I have been eyeing, but it would have to be the very right thing. Like it would have to be. In fact, there's 2 very specific that I'd want to be back ending. All
right, how much is Bill Burr for a cameo?
So Bill Burr does not do.
He's not on cameo. Oh okay.
No. There's only yet. I'm debating whether I should even say them online or keep people
keep the surprise.
in
Keep the surprise.
Yeah. Keep the suspense. But it's all because of guys and gals like you, really saying thank you so very much, Peebo. Wait,
it really helps a lot. We appreciate it.
This is a drinking game? Why do I never get the memos? It's true. So, yes, we have been, someone early on was like, should we take a shot every time that he says the word atheist? And I'm like, well, you know, that may not actually be a good idea because the amount of crap that comes out. If you want this guy to stay on topic, you may need to stay on topic.
Stay on target.
James, do you have ADD?
Red Leader? I never liked Red Leader.
Because I think I may. What is Red Leader?
Red Leader is down. I never liked Red Leader.
But thank you so very much, Peebo, and we'll keep you posted on all future memos.
I don't know. I keep thinking of Mystery Science Theater. It's Mystery Science Theater. What is that? What is that one called?
I like to
Space
think of
Mutiny.
us...
Space Mutiny. Mystery Science Theater. Space Mutiny, where they're the space battle. It's like a riff off of Star Wars, but it's terrible.
I like to think of us as kind of having a Mystery Science Theater. If we ever found actual movies, I would do the same thing. But this kind of what we're doing here.
Like Kirk Cameron's Left Behind series.
Yeah. Oh, we should. The thing is, can you get? Do we have the rights to do commentary on top of that? I don't know.
It's fair use. Yeah.
Then hey, let's do it, baby. But what is up? Speaking of the beautiful people. What is up, Mark Reid? That's right. We are playing a drinking game every time this dude stays on topic and says the word atheist.
Mark Reid.
And so
far, him and Atheist Jr. last night.
I know.
He had on the stream that was really good.
I think what it was is that, and it's vice versa. One of them did. One of them was on the other during the live, and I saw that was on great. And then they just premiered it last night on the other channel. So go check out. I don't know which one was which, but go check out Atheist Jr. and Mark Reid. You should both be checking out all those wonderful non-believers. But yes, we're talking about, is there no such thing as atheism? I feel like there'd be a bunch of people listening right now who would say, yes, we are atheists. But he never got the memo. Also, this dude's chat comments is hilarious because all the comments is just like, no, we're here. We're definitely here, but thank you.
Who was a philosopher, writer, not a Christian.
Who? Hold on.
David Foster Wallace, who was a philosopher, writer, not a Christian. He actually eventually took his own life because of depression. He was speaking to a college class and he said this. He said, in the day-to-day trenches of adult life, there is actually no such thing as atheism. There's no such thing as not worshiping.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Get your shot glass. Pour yourself.
Get your shot glass. Hey.
He said the word atheism. We're like a fourth of the way through the thing.
Yeah, but 25% the way through. He gets right to the point.
Exactly. Not one to mince words.
Everybody worships, he says. The only choice we get is what to worship.
Also, I love this because
I hate
he's
this
like
concept,
quoting someone else. He's quoting, so he's not even like quoting the Bible. Like he's quoting a dude.
They just take the definition of worship and just make it so broad. Like anything you like, you worship. Like if you like a hamburger, you're worshiping. It's not the same thing. It's not just anything that you like is not a form of worship.
Yeah, no. Just because you want social programs in the world doesn't mean you worship the government. Just because you
I like the
have
Miami
a
Dolphins.
job,
I don't worship them.
That's right.
You know,
exactly. Just because you have a job doesn't mean you worship money. You don't have to worship everything. You don't have to have something. And they get away with these colloquies all over the time.
The concept of worship, I feel like, has to have some type of supernatural, some type of, just beyond our everyday experience in life. It's not that kind of...
There's only one type of secular worship that I support.
Do it.
And that is if you're on your knees to your partner. Any other time.
Voluntarily.
Voluntarily, yes. Yeah. Any other time, you're talking nonsense and woo.
Compelling reason for maybe choosing some sort of God or spiritual type thing to worship is that pretty much anything else you worship will eat you alive. If you worship money and things, if they are where you tap real meaning in life, then you will never have enough, never feel you have enough. It's the truth. Worship your own body and beauty and sexual allure, and you will always feel ugly. And when the time and age start showing, you will die a million deaths before they finally grieve you.
Yeah, all those things you actually enjoy in life, they suck. What about Jesus? Yeah, no.
What are you worshiping today? What is your source today? And is it actually giving you sustenance?
Open
is it actually making your life worth living? He says, I'm the true vine, and my Father, this is so comfortable, my Father is the vine dresser. My father is the gardener. The idea that the
literally, he is for one line. He's about to catch himself. Well, we still got 6 minutes. He catches himself halfway through. He must go faster afterwards.
father is intricately involved.
He's a late bloomer.
Why is that comforting? You know why that's comforting? Because as much as I sat in the car after that moment and thought, oh, I got to make the most of my life. The reality is, guys, I'm human. Like, I'm going to make decisions
like
that are
the
based
people who wrote
on
the
the
Bible.
moment. Again and again and again in my life. Like, there are lusts in me, there are desires in me, there's selfishness in me. As much as I try, I'm always going to deviate away from the plan of God. But how comforting that there is a Father in heaven who actually knows the plan that he has for my life and why he created me. And
we that plan up all the time. So I don't know why it's a plan.
It's a fucked up, it's a stupid plan.
Fulfill that purpose. He's the vine dresser. He's the gardener. It's like my wife, Trisha. She's great with this kind of stuff, okay?
She's great.
She's great on her knees.
Call her for catering.
Okay? Because I grew up in the Middle East, in the desert, in high-rise buildings. The thing I dislike the most is dirt and earthworms. I cannot stand dirt and earthworms, okay? And every May 24 has not been enjoyable.
What did the earthworms do to him?
We owned our home and we've been married because every May 24 weekend, I'm in the dirt. Earthworms are crawling all over me because she is getting me to like till the soil and put new soil and do all this stuff. But she's so good.
What does this have to do with atheism?
And you know what's interesting about Trisha? You asked my wife, like, hey, tell me about this plant in the in the backyard. Tell me about that one. She'll know what to tell you. Like she knows our plants. She knows what's going on with them. She knows how well they produced last year.
She wears the pants in that relationship, is what he's trying to say.
Working.
She makes the plans. He follows.
Got a couple of great rose bushes. They look beautiful. And she's like, yeah, I need to cut this and prune this and cut this stem because this is dead and this has already produced the buds and stuff. And so I need to cut it so it'll produce more in the next season. She is constantly caring for our garden, for the plants that we have, because she cares. She's interested. But the challenge is sometimes we don't want God to be overseeing our lives. In our human rebellion, we reject.
That's what I've got so far. His wife has a garden.
That's God. We say, God, leave me alone. It's like my daughter. My daughter, Lauren, in one way, you want your children to grow up. You want them to get independent. You want them to learn to do life. But in another way, I miss having control. Honestly. The older they grow, it's like they don't want to wear this. They don't want to eat this. They don't want to do it this. I'm like, when did you start to get to make these decisions? How is this even happening right now?
That is
like I've been making all the decisions for you for the last 4 years, but now you have an opinion about stuff. Oh, kids and opinions. I'm assuming those
that doesn't mince well with Christianity.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have opinions.
Lauren has started brushing her teeth.
Or got to whip out that baseball bat of kindness.
Big deal for her because I've been brushing her teeth morning and evening, for a couple years now. And the other day, so I've been like just monitoring, just watching from a distance, right? How is she doing? Is she doing it well? Is she brushing for long enough? And what is interesting,
you're like, what do you have? Like a hidden camera in there watching her brush her teeth, like you're a dental hygienist or something.
Indeed. Well,
listen. I don't want to pay for those fillings. You better be brushing them good.
I honestly don't get how any of his stories ever connect to atheism. Like sometimes he eventually gets to like a half a point, and I still don't get why he really told us the story. But preachers, ladies and gentlemen, and this just isn't in anybody. Like, this is a guy who has what looks like, this is the type of stage you have for a mega church. I don't know how big
not a hole in the wall church.
Yeah.
And no, too fast. No, you got to do that.
He's got a fucking touch
You got to do it longer. No, you missed this part. You got to go E and go on the side. Come on now.
Penelope
a few more
would
times.
love that.
A 50-some inch touch screen.
Daddy, stop. So what do you mean stop? She says stop. She's like, what she says. My 4-year-old. She says, I know what I'm doing. Really?
4-year-old.
I know what I'm doing. She's like, I know how to brush my teeth. I know. I don't need you to tell me. I'm like, wow. Here's why she says that. Because generally when I step in, it means that she's got to brush a little longer. Which
also, okay. So this is the most relatable he's going to get. So we need to peak right here. Because after this, it gets very, like I feel like that is a understandable. Oh, I know I've said things like that to my parents only to be horribly proven wrong. And so I just don't understand.
You'll have that point where you don't like them telling you what to do and you want to just do it your way and you know what to do. You know everything.
And yet I feel like he misses the mark for like the next minute and a half. Like, it just seems very weird. Like he goes to like a goal. Like the goal isn't like she thinks she knows something and she's going to learn from it. It's that she says this because she has a cute yet ulterior motive. I don't know. It just came off very weird to me the first time. We'll let you all experience it to tell.
She's going to be delayed from the storybook she's going to read at night, or from the breakfast she's going to eat, or from the TV show she's about to watch. So in the moment, she's like, it sounds to me, Daddy, that you care more about my teeth than my enjoyment. And that's exactly the truth, right? Because it's like, you may be delayed.
No, it sounded like she was trying to be a little bit independent. And she was trying to be like, no, I know what I'm doing. Whether she actually could or not, a lot of times kids fall on their face after saying they know how to do it.
They may not know.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm nitpicking. It just feels like I said, he crescended. It was like the most relatable, and then it just starts to fall off. And he just, whatever.
5 minutes from going to bed or from watching the show, but what I care is that your teeth remain healthy for the next.
Oh yeah, and that is the other. I do 100% agree with this. Can I not tell you? It's important for all animals. Okay, it's the number one killer of dogs and cats. It's the number one. It is a leading. How should I say this? Promoter of death in humans. Because what happens is when you do not brush your teeth and it collects, it drips. This is what happens in dogs and cats into the back of a lot of your organs and cause organ
infections
failure.
And
yes,
oral infections are serious because they're so close to the brain. If you don't get them treated pretty quick, they can spread, and it can be ugly real quick.
Having healthy teeth is a good thing. It is not something that we should brush away. Oh, I get my dad joke moment.
Being in America with our for-profit healthcare system, there are people who have had bad toothaches and they go to the clinic or whatever, and they're given antibiotics and pain medicine, a prescription for it, and they don't have enough to get both, so they get the pain medicine instead of the antibiotic, and they end up dead because they chose. If you can only get one, the antibiotic is what's going to save your life. The pain medicine, it sucks either way.
Though I will say, I got rightfully roasted on the last podcast because I pulled a Mr. Fantastic. He said something very dorky. I swear I had watched this episode and I said something because he said it, and then Mark Cuban roasted him, and then I rightfully got roasted for saying that I was into toothpaste. But I swear, I like different flavors, and it annoys me. I literally went on like a crusade to find
the most
good tasting fluoride toothpaste because all of the good tasting toothpaste does not use fluoride. They're all like the hippie ass fucking toothpaste that are like, we don't use any of them chemtrail toothpaste. We're like, okay, but so you don't use anything that actually does anything for the teeth? Is that what you're telling me?
It's all natural. No.
All natural. Yes, you all naturally does not do anything to clean the teeth. Thank you.
You naturally get cavities, and
like I'm sure they'll say like it has an abrasive or something that wipes debris away.
Get stains off.
The whole point is that you actually are enamel, wiping. Yeah. Yes, you're strengthening the enamel and
fluoride.
But yes, we're going back into it. We are sending love to all of you who are sticking around with us. I see X Music and James Wolfe and Dave Gar and Norfolk and Michael and Big Bad Mama, Pookykins, everybody out there. If we didn't say Scapegoat, keep on sending love. We'll keep on sending you love. But we're
crying, Dave Gar.
Crying. Uncle Beck, what is up? Sending so much love. Oh, really? You have your canine teeth are very pronounced. That's the same way with Rachel. I like it, actually. I once asked her, I'm like, did you file your teeth down? Because she had, because I know people who have done pointed ears and, like elven ears and stuff. She's like, nope. That's just the teeth. I like it. I like any type of supernatural force. I like vampires. I like werewolves. The new Teen Wolf is fantastic. I'm on the last season. Rachel and I have been watching that. It's the remake, and the best thing about that is actually it has no vampires in it. And I am a big fan of vampires. However, having no vampires in a supernatural type of show like that, I feel like it forced them to go outside of the box. They had to like go into a whole bunch of different supernatural things. They have banshees, they have mutants and hellhounds and coyotes and wolves and whole bunch of fun things. Chimeras, and harpies, yeah, all sorts of fun things. Christopher Lee vampire films. Yeah, I love when supernatural is mythical and actually not real, then I like it. Fake magic is fantastic. Real magic is fake.
Do we allow the Father to speak to us?
Yes, Daddy, speak to me.
I know you enjoy this in this moment. I know you would like to do it this way. I know you'd like to go there. I know you'd like to get into that relationship.
But you don't have permission.
But can I tell you what's best for you?
True blood?
I'm the vine dresser. When you talk about
oh my God,
fruit,
what's
yes,
that?
Jesus.
Just very quickly.
Trying to think of
Galatians
the main
5:22 and
character's
23 talk
name.
about the fruit of the Spirit.
Suki.
The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Like
also, long walks on the beach, movies, karaoke.
How do you know if you're producing fruit? Well, one way is to look at your character. Are you developing in those qualities? Second is community. Are you engaged in authentic, life-giving community? 1 John 4:12 says, no one has ever seen. If we love one another, God abides in us, and his love is perfected in us. Listen, guys, when I got married, I thought I was a very mature person.
A very
I'd been
naughty
teaching already
boy.
for about 10 years at that point, all over the world, right? So when I got married, I had this grandiose idea of how mature I was.
Ian, sending so much
Ian,
love.
good to see you, Ian.
Disciple my wife to be more like Jesus. You know, this was my plan.
More
I had
like
a strategy
Jesus.
of how I was going to do this, and she was going to learn. And what shocked me was that, man, I had emotions and feelings and reactions to stuff she was saying like never before.
Oh man!
Like, I remember the first time she asked me, "What is that?" And as you know, every
baby,
like,
don't hurt
I'm
me.
like, it's a towel. She doesn't know what a towel.
Yo, I would love to
What
do
is
some
that?
karaoke.
Like
I've been having fun. I've actually been taking some singing lessons lately. I'm only going to do a few rounds. But I've always loved karaoke. I've always liked singing. It's cathartic, just like comedy. You Soaky. I can't. You gotta have a little twang in it. Soaky, you're gonna get us in trouble with them vampires.
Go on, honey boo boo.
A little bit. Oh my.
Mama Newman. There you go.
You're in a band and sing. That is fantastic. One day I would like to be in a band. I'm working on getting in tune. But that's cool. Yo, if you got a channel or anything to shout out, Big Band Mama, you ever tell me, we'll shout you out.
Alice. No, she says, well, why is it there? I'm like, what do you mean? I try to throw it from the
there.
other.
Well, it's a zit. You gotta pop it. I'm sorry. You gotta exfoliate better.
But it didn't hit the basket, so it fell next to the basket. So what?
Whoa, what are we talking about? Something launched and hit the basket? Aim better.
A towel.
Get a towel. And he's talking about a towel. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Why is the towel on the floor, I think?
Because for a second, I'm like, what is he catching in a towel? Did he get a handy?
No. We don't do that here. Man, the feelings and emotions I had.
We don't do that here.
It was like the coffee cup. I was used to drinking coffee. Some of the guys in this room know what I'm talking about, if you're not married especially. I was used to drinking coffee from coffee cups that had multiple rings. The more rings, actually, the prouder I was. You know what I'm talking about? That the coffee sat in the cup for a while.
Minute 20. All right. We've said the word atheist once.
Once, yeah.
Single time. Now, he did say it. You can't say he didn't say it. He did say it. But for it being in the title, it normally should be talked about more than, the title.
The tittle.
The tittle.
And the ring was formed. So instead of washing the cup properly with soap, I just throw it out, rinse it a little bit, and pour fresh coffee.
And we all float down here, Georgie. Oh, yes, we do.
She's like, no, there's 3 rings in this coffee cup.
3
Can you
rings.
drink fresh coffee?
Yes,
I said,
my
"No,
precious.
coffee.
To rule them
My
all.
It's the same
coffee.
coffee. Who cares? Didn't work out. The
I
first
really don't
year
know
of
why
our
we're
marriage
talking
was
about
not
coffee.
easy, let me tell you that.
Like, I get it. This is his second.
He's talking
most
about him
relatable
and
thing.
his marriage and like the new things he can't do now that he's married.
It just like all these are dad stories. Like all of these.
Pretty much,
These are
yeah.
all stories that if you were listening to someone in line, you would want to stab yourself in the eye with like a screwdriver. Like
If you had
would be
to sit there with
smiling.
them, you couldn't walk away.
Yes. Like, well, it's one of those things where you'd be like waiting for him to end the story to like get to the fucking point, and he never would. He never, ever, ever, ever would. And you would just want to die on the inside.
It's like sitting there in one of those get rich quick seminars and you're just waiting for them to tell you how you get rich, and they just keep talking, but they never tell you. And then eventually you realize, wait a minute, I've been scammed. There is no secret trick. The trick is getting me to pay $50 to come here.
There is that's not a coincidence, as you'll find out as you go through here, that it seems like that's what his background is. And so you may be picking up on something. And I'll say I'm biased. I should have seen the first one. I've only recently seen it within the past few months, and I've become obsessed. However, I need to see the old one. And now people are like, fans are telling me, they're like, well, you should have seen the Tim Curry one first. But I couldn't help myself. I saw it by accident because there was someone sent a shout out to Maximal. He does a whole bunch of Pennywise content. He does the whole costume, and he says it does about an hour to do his makeup, which is just a little bit longer than it does for me to put on mine. And so I came across him, and then I wanted to see the movie, and then yes, we are on. We'll give him. We will give him props. He is on 1.25, but I'll tell you, he is kind of not saying anything. I really don't know what the fuck he's saying.
Who's that director?
Curry?
Rocky Horror Picture Show. Tim Curry is a dang legend. He is indeed. They were going to have Tim Curry be Batman. There's a Tim Curry, or not Batman, the Joker, the animated Joker, who is one of the more famous Jokers. Before they cast Mark Hamill, Tim Curry was the original one. He recorded an entire episode. There's a Tim Curry Joker Batman and Batman clips out there if you'd ever like to see it. It sounds almost weird because I feel like it's almost like Mark Hamill took Tim Curry and tried to kind of went from there. I don't know. It's hard. It's weird because I'm so used to Mark Hamill's voice because he is. To me, there's really only 2 Jokers. To me, so far, the best ones. Though I haven't seen the Jack Nicholson one, which I really guess I should. A lot of people say he's a good one, but I am. It's Mark Hamill and Heath Ledger for me. That might be the millennial in me coming out. To be honest with you, I may be a piece of my time.
Little millennial.
A little bit.
And let me
We're about to be giving it up, though. We were in the highlight. It was us versus the boomers. It's about to be Gen X versus Gen Z. So, James, good luck. I wish you all the have fun fighting your that battle with your kids. The millennials are going to be watching with popcorns.
I'm still
the
a
boomers.
A little.
Are you a millennial?
Older millennial? Yeah.
See, I thought you were
80
like
and
my
after
brother.
is a
My
millennial.
brother is Gen X. Gotcha. Oh, so we're both millennials.
I'm 83. So.
See, my brother is 13 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty crazy. Great. Not only that, and just a coincidence, my nephew is 13 years younger than me. 13, ladies and gentlemen.
This, the guy who thought he was leading was not the one who was leading. I was the sheep taken to slaughter, if you know what I'm talking about.
Second most relatable thing, like I said, this story here, where he's just basically pointing out that he is, like I said, women in charge, ladies and gentlemen. Happy wife, happy life.
Somebody said amen. Okay, so that's what happens, right? It's like you unless you're in community, unless people rub up against you, you're not going to be able to know what's actually in your heart.
I could not agree more, ladies and gentlemen. We here want to keep on promoting that if you do not rub up on someone's leg, I don't think you can really know what's in their heart. I'm on the Boomer X Cuss, so I argue with myself.
There you go.
Third commission. How are you living out the commission of Jesus for your life to be missional?
That's true. Happy spouse, happy house. That is very true. Very, very true. I also thought that would be funny. You know, Bats, you and me, and you just think this whole world is crazy.
Charles Spurgeon says this: every Christian is either a missionary or an imposter.
Ooh. We're talking
I
about
heard a story the other day
now?
of a guy who was talking to me about this incident that happened where this Christian guy was interacting with a non-Christian guy. And after the moment of interaction, it was business related. The non-Christian guy gets into this car with another person, with a third person. And on the drive, the non-Christian guy says to this driver,
car story. Like, if I just want to put on emphasis how much of like a dad joke his entire presentation is, he's telling us our second car story.
Another car story. Now, if you remember the first one, he was parked in his car thinking he was going to get hit. How exciting.
I know. Basically on your edge action.
This vehicle, who also actually happens to be a Christian, he says, hey, that guy that we met and interacted with, is he a church guy? Like, is he a Christian?
Is he gay?
And he says, yeah, he is. And,
yeah, he is.
What? And suited him. Like, yeah, getting to the atheist part, you're like, the atheist, he's going to talk about atheism, right? He would never. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, there's something about him. He says there's something about him that's different. In fact, this
Something
guy, the
about
non-Christian guy,
Becky.
begins to open up his heart about addictions that are happening in his life. He's actually really wealthy. He's doing really well for himself, has so much stuff in his life. But he says to this person, I'm so empty on the inside. And it's almost like what this guy has, this Christian guy has, that's what I want. And you know what the interesting part of the story is? So the Christian guy says later on,
he has delusion.
But he never even talked to him about church. Like, it wasn't about a church conversation, but it was that there was some fruit in my life, in his life, that said, I want what he's got. Hey, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do people around you want to take a bite out of the fruit of your life?
Oh, baby, do they? Depends on which way I bend, but yes, continue.
You want what he's got? It's called PCT.
Oh. In the lobby, after service. Hey, how you doing? God bless you.
Or that. Amy wants what he's got.
Hallelujah, praise the Lord, all this Christianity. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in your life. In unbelieving circles, do people say, I just want to be with you. I just want to hang out with you. I just want to do stuff with you. I want to hang out with your family. Because there's something about you guys that's different.
What?
It's the sodomy.
Yeah, you just sit here and pat yourself on the back all day. How cool. James, aren't we just so cool? Man,
we have it all. Everybody wants to be just like us. They all wish they were this deluded.
Every collar that I have, it pops itself.
Who says every branch in me? Wow, we're only in verse 2. Okay, we got to keep moving. Every branch.
There we go. I love that. Finally. It took him to literally, we are on the mark, 23 minutes to do a 40-minute video for him to go.
I mean,
wow.
We can relate sometimes with our openings. So
I know.
We can't roast him too bad.
But it's just fun.
Still.
Because, come on. Literally, he just realized he's halfway through his video and he's online too. Yes, that is true. We definitely have, even in this episode, I think we've been guilty of that.
But it happens.
Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes. Look at that word prunes here. So every branch in me,
baby.
Your skin kind of looks like prunes. After
there's definitely a big branch in me. All right, I got it in me. What are we doing?
he takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes that it may bear more. So you have two options. One option is you don't bear any fruit.
The other option is Geico, where you can save 15% on car insurance.
Part of the idea of this text is that in order to say that you are a follower of Jesus, there's going to be some level of fruit in your life. Like,
fish fruits.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, you can have me. If
What
you
about
just,
the fish fruits?
you could definitely have a good old fist fruit. But if you just needed a regular fruit, you could also take me. Or Titan. Titan, can they have you?
Fruitcake?
We could both go there.
Nuttier than a truckload of fruitcake.
That's right. A branch in you? Not an Evil Dead reference, I hope. Oh my. No, just dark enough.
fruit bearing is the test of the life-giving attachment you should have or you claim to have with Jesus. And really, the question here is very simple. Do you think about...
Is it? It's so simple. He could wrap it up to you in just 20 to 40 minutes.
How you're producing fruit. Do you think about if your life is
figs.
producing fruit? That's how you know if
It
you're...
was a spelling mistake. Seriously. He said, you need to get gays stoned and just get them to eat figs.
Don't you remember, Amy? I know I've told you before the story in Mark where Jesus got outsmarted by the fig tree. You see, Jesus and his disciples, they were walking on the road from Bethany, and they were really hungry. Jesus was hungry, and he saw up in the distance a fig tree, and he was hungry, so he went running up to the tree, thinking he was gonna get some figs to eat. But when he got there were no figs, and he was mad, and he got a little pissed off, and he was yelling at the tree, and he was talking to the tree because it says the disciples, he ran off. The disciples were in the back, but they heard Jesus talking to the tree. They heard the conversation that Jesus was having with this tree. And he says, I'm going to kill this tree. I'm going to kill it so that it never produces any fruit again. And he did. And the disciples...
and more fruits just keep on happening.
Yeah, he killed the tree because he forgot that it wasn't fig season. The all-knowing God forgot that it wasn't fig season, so there was no figs. And he got pissed off and he killed the tree. Yeah. The figs got the best of Jesus on that one.
Ken Hovind he doesn't call you by your first name. I like it when there's someone out there.
That's Darth who wouldn't do that. Yeah,
really?
Remember, Darth, he would call you Newman, not Amy.
Oh, they go Newman. Well,
he didn't want to do
nice
the
version.
he. Yeah,
because he knew that. I guess he was being recorded. I wasn't recording, but someone was recording him.
He didn't want to do the he, but he's not going to recognize your name
even
as
worse
Amy.
Things already. Yeah.
Connected to the vine. Jesus,
just very short videos.
To the church in Sardis,
he's connected to that.
It's really sobering when you read this, and I want you to hear this carefully.
It is. It's so sobering because we're all sober. Because if you are playing our drinking game, you have taken a single shot the entire video.
That you are alive, but
if you ate French fries, it'll all be absorbed. You'll be good.
What did you say about me? Because I have a reputation.
Well, let's take a look. I'm okay with these jeans. Nice fit. The shoes kind of match, but as someone was saying, like this is way not form fitting. You need either a size down. Dave Gar was calling you, I think, a hippie earlier. Someone's got to tuck this in. Yeah, it's a little bit. Let's see. None that we got the right amount of stubble. That is right there. That's my
just a little bit of
right there.
Stubble.
A little bit of the shadow, it's a little bit of a masculine thing going on. Did I plan this or did I not have time because I was doing stuff? But he takes care of his hair, so it turns out he was doing stuff. So you're okay, but you're a little bit dorky. It's really the shirt that makes it all crumble, and it sucks because a shirt is such a important part of your ensemble. It really makes or break everything. So you got a lot working, but you got to undorkify a little here.
who are dead.
Just a little bit.
No, I wasn't preparing this. I said,
Yeah,
why
no,
would you
very
say
well
that?
groomed. I
Not
can't
a
even
reputation.
hate.
He's a preacher. He's a speaker.
I was
he's
looking-
a pastor.
I was
he does
looking
this,
for
he does that, he
things.
does the other. All this great stuff. But
Even a nice pair of glasses.
He's got a little stubble going on.
Yeah, no. Oh no, this
Like he
is
shaved
well
probably
within
yesterday or the day before. Yeah.
This is that's the quota of hair right there.
A little bit, not too much.
does my reputation match who I really am when no one's looking? That's what
Sending
matters.
so
It's not
much
about
love,
I
what?
serve, I give, I do stuff in church. That's all great.
Hope you're vibing.
I was to look at your private life, your confidential life.
Don't look at my Pornhub tabs.
I'm alone with Jesus. Is there
Oh.
fruit?
Well,
Along with
I mean-
Jesus.
You're alone with Jesus and other fruits. You know what you're gonna do?
Pal.
In your life
Val.
that communicates the authenticity of your relationship with Jesus. And maybe you're sitting here and saying, Fanu, honestly, like, yeah, I'm struggling in that.
I am.
Here's my encouragement to you. You know, it's like it's not about you trying. Trying is not going to help. This sermon is not about work harder.
There is no try.
No, we're really not sure what this sermon's about, but sure. I know it says atheism up here. Like, most Christians are way more, in his defense, like James was saying, most Christians
Big
are
Bad
way
Mama.
more triggered than this guy. Like, they can't help but, like, send all sorts of hate and vitriol. I just want this guy to get off dad jokes and or dad stories. It's not even like Kent Hovind does dad jokes. This guy does dad stories, and somehow dad stories are way worse than dad jokes. Somehow,
It ends up that way. Yeah.
That's what makes the difference.
Thank you, Big
Abide
Bad.
in Jesus. When you abide in him, he produces the fruit. And
Oh,
then
he does it.
it
Oh,
says
okay.
you can
Oh,
actually
my.
produce more.
I have no doubt in my mind that a long-haired hippie walking
Produces the
around
fruit, yeah.
washing other people's feet produces the fruit.
fruit. He wants you to bear more. In verse 5, look at this. In verse 5,
He always wants more.
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! I think it's so funny. He caught himself. See, now he's moving and grooving. He's like, one. It went 1, 2. Okay, let's move on to 5.
he says, I am the vine and you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. So whoever abides in me
I know.
and I in him,
What
he
the
it
hell?
is that bears much fruit. For apart from
Literally.
me, you can do nothing. And what Jesus is saying here is the idea
You will get nothing. Good day, sir.
Yeah.
of remain, of abide. The word there, the Greek word is meno. It means to make your home in, to dwell in, to live from, to stay united with. It's like the analogy I can use. It's quite simple. It happened to me this morning, and I was thinking about it. Is I made tea this morning. First thing
He
in the morning.
sounded so happy when he was thinking about that just a second. I was thinking about it. It was like, it's kind of cute.
You know, I don't know if it's because we're Indian and British influence or whatever, but we like our tea, okay? So I made tea first thing in the morning, woke up, made tea. And here's what I did when I made tea. I
like
boiled the
coffee?
water, the
You
water
like
was boiling
tea?
hot, and I took a tea bag and I
That is the
put
thing
it in the
I
water.
can't help but criticize about this guy. Is like,
Teabag.
oh no, oh yeah, we're about to get to my favorite part of the actual episode, but I just can't help it. He is just so boring. Like I
Telling a story about making tea.
like I know that we have criticized and roasted people for a variety of different reasons on this channel, and there are way worse things that you could be. But holy shit, like I just, if this is the dude that is sitting with you like at the DMV, it is going to be an active shooter situation.
You're thinking about sticking a fork in the electrical outlet at that point.
Oh yes, you are looking for some like anything to set yourself on fire. Just if you tell me another puppy story, I am going to kill my.
Oh, tell me again about the one about being in the parked car and you thought a car was going to hit you and it didn't.
Yeah, and I love that because it has zero stakes. Like literally no stakes.
I just sat there and I watched it and I thought it was going to hit me, but it
And
didn't.
it
He turned
did.
at the last second. Yeah.
And then somehow within a few minutes, he's like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know. telling stories that really get to no point ever. Thanks, Dad.
Very little work involved, right? All I did was put it in the water and I let it. I just let it stay. And here's the beauty of making tea: is if you let the hot water do its work, if you let the tea bag do its work, what happens is the hot water is in the tea bag and the tea bag is in the hot water, and eventually they become one and the same. To the point that you can take the tea bag 7 minutes later and throw it out, and you still have a cup of tea with all the essence and ingredients of the tea bag in the water.
How much he says tea bag just makes me happy.
Yeah.
This is what Jesus is saying. Hey, listen, could you just tea in me?
Just teabagging me.
Spend time in my presence. Connect with me. Love on me. Read my word. Allow me to saturate who you are. Is what Jesus says.
Right.
That's
in
how
my
you
mouth.
produce
That's right.
more fruit. Christianity is not a philosophy. It's not a therapy. It's not success. You know, I'm a leadership guy. You know, leadership
It's
books,
just
right?
bullshit.
I read so many. You know, every leadership book has principles, steps. 5 steps. Increasing sales. Right?
I know. Like, literally.
He is a salesman, yeah.
You put a tea bag in the water, and he's like, whoa. I just, yeah, I guess, cool. Like, if you are amazed at what goes on, I shouldn't do two brand, but like in a random branding of a company that sells coffee or tea, I feel like you may need a higher bar for miracles. That's just me. Like, don't get me wrong. This in and of itself is almost a miracle, but it's only because of how much sugar they put in there. That's the only miracle. It's a miracle I also don't get diabetes when I'm done with it.
I used to run a parachurch ministry. I'd have to call churches all the time, cold call them. So I had to buy all these cold calling books, right? Sales books, right? 5 steps to talk.
Okay. There's my main point of like this whole video. I forget who called it out. Was it Beck? It was, or someone was saying this person just sounds like a salesman. Like, it just sounds like they are trying to give a pitch. And this dude, he reads cold calling books, which, I mean, I naturally cold call. It's creepy to me. I don't know why, because to read a book about it, I think, to try and learn. But like, cold call is just using what people give you. I mean, my famous, it sounds weird when I say this, not famous thing. A thing I like to say is that people will tell you anything. Just ask them. They want to talk. And so people will just blah, 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 blah. And that's generally cold calling, is you gather information and then use that information. Yes, it was Uncle Beck. Yeah, you were 100% on. This guy is basically, I mean, we are basically in a timeshare right now. Like, the presentation was there's no such thing as atheism, and we are this close, I think, to getting a trip in the Bahamas. I think. After, we finish it and then, maybe set up a payment plan. You don't actually have to pay anything. You just have to have the payment card on file.
Talking to anyone on the phone, right? And it's like, people take that and they try to bring it.
He does look a little bit like D'Souza.
What are the 5 steps new that I can do to kickstart my growth in Jesus? I don't have any for you. The Son of God says, there aren't any steps. It's my presence that makes the difference.
Ever heard of Gurian transfer? I think he's aiming for that effect. I probably should, but help me out there with that. Send in so much love, Mark.
He says pruning
I'm gonna look it up
produces
now,
more fruit. This is important. I was sitting on the plane ride here to Toronto with a doctor who is doing some really fascinating studies right now. He's a research director on one of the largest studies on aging in the world, okay? Some of you are really going to want to lean into this one.
Okay, here we go. This is interesting. The Grunin transfer in shopping mall design. The Grunin transfer is the moment when consumers enter a shopping mall or store and are surrounded by an intentionally confusing layout, thus losing track of their original intentions. making them more susceptible to making impulse buys. Holy shit. Is that a real thing? That's fantastic. I was told in Walgreens when I work there at the pharmacy that pharmacies are set up very specifically so that the pharmacy is at the far end and that you have to walk through everything to get to the pharmacy. Right. And they do that purposely.
Well, if you've ever like been to your stores and you realize that every year or year and a half or 6 months, they redo everything. They completely redo the layout of the store a lot of times. And they do that because they don't want people to remember the layout so they can just go right in, go right to what they need and go out. They want you to have to kind of browse around a little bit. They want you to have to kind of look because maybe you'll see something you didn't even know that they had or that you needed.
But they're all designed with like basically subverting your expectations. Like the amount of people that would tell me that this is not what I came into the store for, or like they would have all this shit, and then they're like, I came in. They're like, they have $200 worth, and they're like, I came in for this.
I came in for a thing of batteries.
You're like, yeah, I came in for batteries, and they're like,
okay, now I'm buying 26 things of the lube.
And that's why I know.
I didn't come for it.
It'd be a great night. But that's also why they have the impulse buys at the store, at the very within reach. They also that is why candy is not eye level. It's eye level with children. Like that is how borderline evil that all these corporations are. I mean, well, what can I say?
Capitalism, folks.
Capitalism. The good and the bad, ladies and gentlemen.
And I hope I don't get in trouble for that joke. Okay, so he's talking about.
I think you're pretty good. I think you're safe.
He's doing some really fascinating studies right now. He's a research director of one of the largest studies on aging in the world. Okay, some of you are really going to want to lean into this one. Okay, I hope I don't get in trouble for that.
That was the joke. Lead into there was no punchline. Yes, someone giggled, but that wasn't a punchline.
Lean into it.
So he's talking about 6,000 guys that he's been following for 60.
Oh my! Okay. No, so we're talking about 6,000 guys.
6,000 guys on Twitter.
Hallelujah. Okay.
Years now, 60 years, 6,000 men. Okay. And it's fascinating. One of the biggest things they identified in aging, 70s, 80s,
That's like
90s,
Will Chamberlain level numbers.
He had a term for it. I wrote it down.
Like Magic Johnson in the mid 80s.
Involuntary loss of.
Also, we are now 3/4 of the way through. One time, he said atheist. One time.
Skeletal muscle mass and strength.
Skeletor?
So what he was telling me was what you need to do in your 40s and 50s and 60s, you want to make sure you are resistance training and weight training. That's how you keep as much muscle mass as possible for later in life. And I thought about that. I said, isn't that part of what pruning is? That God allows resistance to come your way. Resistance in relationships, resistance in finances, resistance in maybe something to do with parenting, something to do with your marriage, something to do at work. Like
your child dies and you're like, wow, now I can get closer to Jesus.
It's part of God's plan.
Part of God's plan. No.
Resistance comes your way.
God bless cancer.
Resistance, God's like, hey, I'm equipping you, preparing you.
Bugs coming out of people's eyeballs.
So you can produce more fruit.
Wonderful.
You can stay active longer. You can do something that will make a difference in the world around you. Verse.
All at the same time. Death by PP.
The last part of verse 5 said, apart from me, you can do nothing. This is important. It doesn't
That's
mean
a sword fight I want to lose.
It means that all of your activity won't produce anything that's lasting. That's what he's talking about. Listen, I have a friend who, when he was really young, like right out of high school.
Is he like a roommate?
When he got to Bible college, he was not very academically strong. So somebody at Bible college was mocking him and said, the only reason you got to Bible college is because...
You're not very academically strong. Common insult.
Do you even lift books, bro?
Requirements of joining a Bible college is sort of lower. You ended up in Bible college.
Reid,
My friend was so insulted and so hurt and so upset. He quit Bible college
to prove to this person that he could make it in the world. For the next 20 years, he went and got multiple degrees. He got a great job. You know, he had the big house. He had multiple.
His wife, it was fantastic.
Cars. He had a family vacation around the world.
Got a mortgage he couldn't afford.
Then 20 years later, he wakes up one day in a crisis. Think about it. He's like, what?
In the middle of his wife.
20 years of my life.
She's like, what's wrong, honey?
This was
like,
never what I was supposed to do with my life.
Jesus.
Lots of.
She's like, what? I'm not enough? Do I need to do something? Do I need to wear something? Jeez. More spit?
Activity, but didn't actually translate into something meaningful and purposeful and part of why God had designed him. He left everything. That's the end of the story. He left everything, went into ministry, became a pastor. He's having such an incredible impact with his life now. Because he's like, you know what? I'm just not going to do my thing. I'm going to do what God's called me to do. Some of us, we're really busy.
Oh, yeah.
But we're actually
producing
great. Nothing. When life
Screw all this helping people and shit. I'm just going to be a pastor and lie to
Literally
people.
even said, he's like, I had a great life and everything. Screw that.
You're like, very few things I can actually be proud of.
You can sell the invisible product. That's easy. I mean,
one writer says this: our greatest fear should not be of failure, but of succeeding at things in life that don't.
Ooh, Uncle Beck's throwing down.
6.
You think so?
Says,
could be.
a little bit.
Be a good way to hide it. Because you're right, I can't tell. So it would be mission success, right? But I guess you're right. You're right. I can see that.
This. If anyone does not abide in me, he is thrown away like a branch and withers. And the branches are gathered and thrown into the fire and burned. Listen, not a great thought for some of us, maybe.
Also, all right. So here is the least enduring part of this
We're going to be thrown
video.
into a fire and burn. Yeah.
Well, I love this. He does an actual joke. So we'll just let him do his actual joke.
To talk about hell, to talk about fire, to talk about eternal damnation, but it's part of what the Bible says. The Bible says when you leave this world, you go to one of two places. You go to heaven in the presence of God, or you go to a place where God's presence doesn't exist, and it's called hell. Tim Keller, he shared this, I heard him talk about this. I thought it was really profound and sort of humorous as well. He said in New York City, people come up to him and ask him all the time, he says, they ask me what I think about hell. To which I reply, I think the biblical imagery of hellfire, probably that's metaphorical. And he says to that, the people who hear the answer say, whew, I'm so glad that that's the case. And then he says, I go on to say to them, then I always say it's metaphorical for something probably infinitely worse than fire.
But
something that's infinite. We don't even know how bad it is.
Can I freeze on that for just look at how happy. Look at that, and actually just it gets. Look at that.
That's like the switch. Like you guys think you guys aren't going to be burnt. Well, maybe it'll be way worse than being burnt. So worse, we can't even describe how bad it's going to be.
Like, when you think of people dying horribly in a brutal, excruciating manner, I feel like that's the kind of smile that comes to your face.
I mean,
but hey, we wanted to be talking about hell, right? There we go. This is like where he Xenu'd us. We finally got to something a little bit spicy. Because he said atheism. Uno. Not dos. Not tres. Uno. Well,
something that's infinite. We don't even know how bad it is. But the reality is,
it's so bad. You don't even know how much it's going to suck. Oh, you're going to be in such pain. You just wait. Thanks.
The Bible talks about hell. It talks about a place that God doesn't live and God doesn't exist and God's presence is not there. That's where Satan rules and you don't want to be there. And Jesus is reminding us that if we're not connected to him, we have hellfire. Not if you don't work hard enough. That's not what we're talking about. Not if you don't produce enough fruit. He produced 5 fruit. I produced 3 fruit. I'm going to hell. No.
Oh my God. Yeah, and that's that right there. That's there Rachel's. And I like medium. She's a medium rare. I'm a medium.
Medium rare.
My favorite food. But yeah, he is smiling like he just got a steak. Like he just smiling like he just had that sexy time multiplying with his wife.
You are connected to him. That's what matters.
His wife got out to strap.
Oh, I know.
In his book,
it's like being anti-natalist and going around making children. Like, if you think people are going to hell, I guess in their head, they must think that, like, it's guaranteed. Oh, our kids went. Not our kids. Of course, they're going to heaven. But you're right. That is kind of silly.
I've always say that. It's probably the most immoral thing you can do to bring someone into the world, and then foist this basically put a gun to their head and say you have to believe these set of facts. We can't prove it to you. You just have to believe it. And if you can't believe it, well, you're going to go to hell.
Also, it's immoral if you have a theology that says that if they don't know about the God, that they get into heaven, and you tell them, it's actually immoral. And I think you've said this.
Why would you?
I'm kind of becoming convinced too that you've at least in 50-50, they're going to hell now because of you. When it was 100% chance they were going to heaven just a few seconds ago. But yes, this is the end game of tonight's opposing view. We are talking, there is no such thing as atheism, and we're going to try and get through it so we can get into like maybe 30 minutes of open mic and have a good time. The after show always opens for the community at the back end as well on Discord, the link of which is in the description below. That's right, baby. But okay, there is no such thing as atheism. He's been going through John 15 through 1 through 11. He's been nimble now because he realized halfway through his sermon that he's been like talking about I am
stories and pizza, pizza and teabagging and car accident.
Almost. Sin is building your identity on anything but God. And this is one of the most crucial definitions for the whole of Christianity. That the opposite of sin is not virtue, but faith. The opposite of sin is not being good enough.
And faith is a good way to be wrong.
Trying to be better. It's about having your faith put in Jesus. That's what it's about.
So Gizmo and I have a going rule, which is we don't want it to become a 4-hour podcast. So a 3-hour and change. So as long as we can get out of here soon, it'll be like a 20-30 minute open mic. And that may even include the outros, though. So we'll see. But we do our Skeptic and Rantings.
Once in a while we go longer, but we'll try to keep it.
Our midnight rantings tend to be the longer open mics. Bible studies go either way, and Skeptic and Rantings tend to be shorter open mics. But we still want to try and give everybody a chance to say their view. And like I said, when it opens up, if you're an atheist, agnostic, even a deist or a pagan, and you want to talk with us, we'll let everyone go on, have their opening statements, and go probably an extra 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes. But, if you're a theist or a funny, come on, and we'll let you talk for, I don't know, we'll probably go another hour.
Depends on the conversation, yeah.
Exactly. But yes, there is no such thing as atheism. This guy apparently has been trying to show us on brochures and why you should have his brand of car insurance. I think that's what we've been talking about. But
of sin is faith in Jesus, not sin and good person. Sin.
Oh, I love this. The whole like works sucks movement is such a funny thing. Like the whole, he's about to shit on doing good things. Just have at it.
Put your trust in Jesus and be connected to the vine. Verse 8 says this about the Father. He says, by this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit. Watch this. And prove to be my disciples. Guys, one of the things we have to constantly remind ourselves in a culture that is so constantly talking to us about self-fulfillment, self-discovery. Is that if you are going to connect to the vine, I'm sorry to say, you have to follow Jesus. He will follow you. Like that's part of the whole understanding here is that you take orders and instruction from him. You don't tell him what you would like to do. It's not Jesus, help me do this, help me do.
He's the master. You're the slave. Get on your knees, naughty boy.
Help me go there. Help me marry this person.
How dare you want?
Who do you want me
to live your own life or do things that make you happy?
The easiest way and the simplest way, because the time is for me to just talk
your
about
life's
this.
Not about you.
Okay, sort of hilarious. So this family, they have 2 sons, and every Christmas Day, when they open presents, they remind their children as to why they're getting presents. So on this particular day, older son is 5 years old, younger son is 3 years old.
And the reason is because you stole it from a pagan holiday? Yeah, connect me to Jesus coming back from the dead to you getting a PS5. What's the connection?
The birth, Christmas, the birth of Jesus. Yeah, Easter, the death.
Or, I'm sorry, the
same
birth.
thing.
Oh,
Same thing. Yeah, the birth of Jesus. Yeah.
Okay, connect me to that, to bath salts? I'm trying to think of a good gift.
Fuzzy handcuffs.
Fuzzy handcuffs. I got a bath bomb recently. That's why that came onto my mind, because all I think about now with bath salts are people going crazy. If this guy did a DBZ show, his fusion hard dance with Dinesh D'Souza Atheism would die. That would be funny. And that is true. That's another triggering point for creationists, especially the racist creationist, when we point out that we're from Africa.
The out of Africa, they are not down with it. They
are not down with the clown.
They have to try to put us all out of the Middle East, which is not true.
The older son with all the presents wrapped up in front of them. And, he says, why, kids, why are we receiving presents today? And the older son pipes up and says, Daddy, we're receiving presents today because it's Jesus' birthday today. And then the younger brother now, it's his turn. He turns and looks at his brother, and he's sort of awed by the response, by the answer. And then he notices all these presents that are wrapped sitting right in front of him. And so he looks at his dad wide-eyed, and he says, Daddy, am I Jesus? And they were sharing the story, and they said, for the rest of that Christmas day, we were trying to convince our 3-year-old that he wasn't the Son of God. And it sounds funny when we say
Jesus' birthday, so you get presents.
There you
we
go.
are Jesus and the Son of God. We are the ones in control. Part of what Jesus is saying is, we've got to put him first. One author says this. Listen to this. This is so powerful. Millions call themselves by his name and pay some.
So if you get
homage to him,
if we get presents on Christmas for being good, how come the poor kids who are good get nothing? Capitalism. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Santa seemed to miss them.
Among them. Let the average man be put to the proof on the question of who.
Speaking of which, there's a Santa Claus movie that I actually want to see that actually seems wholesome and endearing. It is called Violent Santa. I
thought it was going to be some Santa porn thing.
No, it's close. It is by the guy who is the father or the adult in Stranger Things. He's playing a Santa Claus. He's playing the Santa Claus, but it's like Santa Claus meets Die Hard. Is that in the middle of him giving
Die Hard, classic Christmas movie?
Exactly. Well, and so he's a drinking Santa Claus. He's kind of a drunk who he just does his job. Kinda. Well, he is actual Santa. He is a supernatural entity. So no, it is and it isn't. And so what happens is he gets stuck in like a house that is a extremely rich person's house, and these mobster gangsters break into the house and they take the house hostage. David Harbour is Santa Claus. Thank you, James Wolfe. What happens is Santa tries to. He's like, I don't want any trouble, and and so the gunman is about to, get on your fucking knees or whatever, and he breaks his nose, and Santa's like, oh, is that how we're going to play? And he takes the man and he breaks his arm. And so the movie is about Santa killing all of the gangsters. It's about Santa kicking ass. And
what's it called?
Violent Santa. The first trailer is just dropped. It has not even been released yet.
Oh, wow.
But if it won over an atheist, that's how you know. And the reason why I like it is because it has nothing to do with Jesus. First of all, they save the cat early on. He's a drunk kind of guy who's kind of he's endearing. He's sweet, but he's still nice. He's kind of sweet and lovable at the same time. But it's just like the Nick Cage thing. I like the whole power play. You're giving it to the the villains. I would show the trailer, but we've had, unfortunately, maybe I've learned though, and I wish I could say this to Skylar Fiction because he was showing his Halloween thing. I think when you show things at 1.5, you have a higher chance of it not being taken down because people know you're not trying to watch. Clearly, you're trying to not show it or steal it or whatever. You're trying to do commentary. But let's continue this. We're at the last part. We have been talking.
Yeah,
There's
the
no
last
such thing as atheism,
ago.
or at least we have. We have no idea what this guy's been talking about for the past 40 minutes plus. Like anything but that.
Or what is above. And his true position will be exposed. Let him be forced into making a choice between God and money, between God and men, between God and personal ambition, between God and self, and God and human love. And God will take the second place every time. Those other things will be exalted above. However, the man may protest. The proof is in the choice he makes.
Oh, I do
day
protest.
after day throughout his life. What choice are you making? Does it prove that you are a disciple of Jesus? Or does it prove that you just use Jesus for the thing you really want in life?
It was fun.
My last point in the last
I was lurking.
Touch on today is before we praise verse 11. These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may be in you.
Oh my, now we're talking.
And that your joy may be full.
See, he's circling joy. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to just circle in you. Here we
joy
go.
in you?
Yeah. And nice and full. Nice and full.
You know that
you want that full feeling.
Like in life, we go after happiness. Happiness comes from the old Norse word hap, which means luck or chance.
But screw that.
Joy
Let's
is
play
not
this
based on luck or chance.
Santa.
It's based on a relationship with Jesus. Like biblical joy finds its root, finds its home in Jesus Christ. That's why the circumstances, scenarios around your life.
Screw all of your love. By the way, screw probably all of the nice, wonderful things that all of your donations give this gentleman and keep him warm at night. But it's all about Jesus, folks.
Can change. You could be healthy or sick. You could have a lot of money. You could have no money. You could be in whatever situation you're in. At the end of the day, you find your joy not in the stuff of the world. You are not. Watch this. One way for you to know that you are connected to the vine
I thought I was gonna do a magic trick.
Is to see, am I moved in the deepest core of my heart by what happens around me?
Not about
or am I ultimately satisfied by Jesus and abiding in his presence?
No, the first. I think that just the regular stuff.
This and we'll pray. It would seem that our Lord finds our desires not too strong, but too weak. We're half-hearted.
He just doesn't care.
Fooling about with drink and sex and ambition. When infinite joy is offered us, like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. We are far too easily pleased. If you're listening to my voice today, if you're watching this today,
we are.
Can I encourage you?
I'm looking. We're looking at each other.
Offer you hope, not in yourself, not in your ability, not in your
words,
not in you striving to try to be a good person.
Wow! Wow! The chutzpah. The absolute chutzpah.
He's got it.
It's like an anti-inspirational. You suck. You can't do it. Just think now. Give up. Okay. Oh, my Lord. He just says it with such a smile on his face that, like, I feel like all the dopamine in our brain, like, we still get the same reaction. Like, I hate you. You're so terrible. Every time I look at you, I just vomit. I vomit all over, and I don't know.
It's such a joyous feeling.
It's such a joyous feeling. I don't know. It makes me just
pure
wanna,
ecstasy.
Yeah, I get up there and I just want to break things with bats.
But in finding a relationship with Jesus Christ, the I am, the God of the universe, the creator, the maker of all things, the one who made you and formed you in your mother's womb and had a plan for you from the day you were born in this world.
All right, we'll buy the timeshare. Jesus, literally.
He's twisting our arm, you know.
Go to him, ask him to fill your life with his presence.
Oh my.
And when you do that, your life will have impact. Your life will make a difference. People will look at you.
Computer, are you saying that are you saying he didn't win you over? You're not a Christian now? No?
Computer, locate Captain.
But he made so much sense. Didn't all of those stories, didn't they just resonate with you?
Captain Picard is not on board the Enterprise.
Lord Jesus, today we come to you just needy.
Oh, yes, we do. We come all over you.
More of you, Lord, because you are the
two
source,
scoops.
Lord. We don't have hope in our own abilities, our own works, our own
Ooh,
desires.
look at that. I see like a guitar. They're about to change sets. Look at this guy has a. Look at this over here. He's got sound staff.
We read books and we try to become people that have legacies and impact and change the world, and yet we fall short again and again and again because we are broken people. We are sinful people. But thank you that we get to put our trust in you. We get to put our faith in you. If there's anyone watching this sermon today, Lord, that is saying they don't have a relationship with you, they want to learn what it means to connect to you.
Yes, come on.
Fruit.
Do what?
Lord,
We want it. We want it.
That they would come right now and want to discover,
all over you,
want to explore what it means to become a follower of you. And Lord, for those of us that are followers of you, help us evaluate how we
help us help you.
Help us.
Are we bearing some fruit?
Open your
Lord, that we
pocketbooks.
would bear more fruit.
That wallet could be a little bit lighter.
When we look back at our lives,
Shoveling that cash into the plate.
there's no way I could have done any of that. There's no way I could have had any of that impact on myself. But because I was connected to Jesus, it's amazing to see what he did through someone that was available to him. May that be our reflection as we live through our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.
Oh,
We made it.
well, we hope that you just enjoyed that opposing viewpoint from Village Church on There Is No Such Thing as Atheism, John 15:1 through 11. And my lordy James, did you enjoy all that wisdom?
It was packed full, I'll tell you what. It was, just packed full of hard-hitting facts and stuff that we can apply in our everyday lives that will make our lives more meaningful, fulfilling.
And I'm actually going to be sending the open mic link into chat if you would like. We got about 15, 20 minutes and then maybe 5-10 minutes for outros. So come one, come all. If not, James will just keep on. We'll both keep on rapping
We'll just keep
for a little bit.
For a few minutes here. Give up this fake atheism for absolutely nothingism. Yeah, it's a lot of platitudes, like a lot of claims, baseless assertions,
deepities.
Just
like he opened up
no
fortune
substance,
cookies.
no substance whatsoever. Just
We're trying.
Like going up to the Chinese buffet and there's nothing up there. There's nothing.
But
maybe
speaking
a few crumbs of a fortune cookie, but
of someone, we got Mark Reid, we got Peebo backstage. We are about to go into the open mic. We are having some fun in the sun. We're gonna go into the open mic on our Skeptic and Ranting. There is no such thing as atheism. What's that?
Muhammad Saw? Is that a movie?
Muhammad Saw. I love Muhammad Saw. I love the movie Saw featuring Muhammad. Yes, that was my favorite one of the Saw movies.
Kills people.
Oh, I can make some.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Oh, there you go.
Is Aisha at the end of this movie? Oh, I would never say that out loud.
Penis be upon him.
Anyway, we love you, computer. Welcome. We love our theist brothers and sisters, but atheist brothers and sisters, we got Mark Reid. We are open micing. There is no such thing as atheism. At least that's what they've been telling us. We'll find out if Mark Reid agrees.
Hey, Mark.
What is up, Mark? Nice to have you on board with us. And we want to know, we're being told there's no such thing as atheism.
I don't know how we arrived at that conclusion. Nothing he actually went into covered atheism in any way, shape, or form. He seemed to just be giving personal anecdotes as to why Christianity was cool. I did think of the Gruen transfer, and as you read out, you're completely right. It's basically outlining a confusing and bewildering architecture of malls, so that when you walk through them, your brain gets so confused that you actually buy stuff. And you asked, is it a thing? Yes, it's an absolute thing. It's a thing that they
crazy.
Well, they actually do it, so it turns off that sort of a logical center of your brain, and you're more apt to make decisions that you wouldn't ordinarily make. This is the kind of thing they do in sales and marketing, at a higher level, to sort of appeal to people. It's like, I think you mentioned supermarket layout. Like another example is they'll put like all. They change it, right? Yeah, James, that's exactly right. They also will put more necessary items up the back, and the more, sort of spontaneous purchase pieces
Impulse
up the front.
items,
So
that's what
impulse items, right?
it.
So you have to walk past them to be able to get to the things that you the necessities that you need. The other thing I thought of was the Chewbacca defense. For some reason, that just kept coming to mind, right? And if no one's familiar with the Chewbacca defense, it was a parody on South Park about O.J. Simpson trial. And basically the lawyer, whose parody of this famous lawyer, and it was brilliant, basically goes on about Chewbacca lived in Endor, but Ewoks lived on Endor. So why was Chewbacca? And he basically said, while he was doing it, like, why am I talking about Chewbacca when a man's life is on the line? It makes no sense. And if it makes no sense, you've got to acquit. For some reason, that kept coming. Like, he's basically talking bullshit. And the funny thing about the Chewbacca defense is lawyers now actually use it to describe a defense that is nonsensical. It's almost like
trying to be confusing and.
Right. It's sort of this idea of, hey, Christianity is cool, therefore atheists don't exist. That was not the non sequitur, and he's just using this confusing stuff to hide the non sequitur from these are the reasons why I think Christianity is right, to atheists don't exist, because that's a non sequitur. One does not, even if Christianity is 100% true, it doesn't explain why atheists don't exist. Atheists might be wrong, sure, but they still exist. It did not cover that at all. This was weird. This was so weird. I don't.
Also, I just want to say, Mark, just in his defense.
Yeah,
but besides
absolutely.
Sometimes I think it's good that we just take a look at what could be being said in any given church, any given Sunday, just the level of discourse that the other side is talking about. Oh,
absolutely. And mostly you'll hear that from presuppositionalists. They'll sort of say, because all coherent thought is necessitated by a god, and they presuppose that condition, that if you try to reason with them, they're like, well, you're presupposing everybody believes it, so therefore there are no atheists. But this guy didn't even get into that. It was so weird. It was sort of really clickbaity, and just this was made for, because usually these are made for to aim at atheists, to say, hey, there are no atheists. You do believe in God. You're just suppressing that knowledge. That's who they're usually trying to aim them at. This one is aimed for people that already believe, and it's trying to reinforce the reasons for their belief, like all of the things that he touched on. Sort of. Yeah. So hey, it's people covet your Christian lifestyle. People. All of these people found a great thing. God does this, and we're really happy for it. All of these things are reinforcement for what you already believe. It's not aimed at atheists at all.
Yeah.
Like saying, hey, you actually, because that's usually the tactic. Hey, atheist, you actually believe, you just don't know it. This wasn't.
You're lying to yourself.
Right. Exactly, James. Exactly. And you know what? It's great to see. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in ages, so it's fantastic to see you both again.
It was good.
And,
Enjoyed seeing your discussion with Adrian.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually found that really interesting. Like I'm
It's
finding
interesting.
those people fascinating, and I'd love to
You
interview
had
you guys
P-Town. I didn't
sometime.
get to see P-Town.
Absolutely.
But I saw that you had him
Love
on
to.
there. Yeah.
P-Town wasn't bad actually. I think P-Town. I vehemently disagree with him, but I do respect his honesty and sort of I do respect him as a person. He's not abusive. He's not argumentative.
It's not vitriolic.
Right.
At least he's willing to answer questions and tell you what he believes.
Absolutely. But yeah, I have enjoyed the interviews I've done, and it's scary to think how it started interviewing Perry, which was weird.
Oh, boy.
That's a weird start to one's YouTube series. Start on a good note. Start with Perry. Yeah.
Hey, we had almost a similar experience. He's our
really?
To this day, he's our longest podcast.
No, okay.
I
Yeah.
can't believe it when I gave Perry the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, at least Perry's not a flat earther. And then they're like, everyone's like, James, Perry's a flat earther. And I'm like,
Right.
no.
Yeah, you have to be careful when saying that. But P-Town definitely isn't. I did ask him that during the interview. He definitely isn't. No, he isn't. I don't think
I
he
didn't
is,
think
no.
so. He's not.
No.
I didn't think he was. But someone was saying
Yeah,
that.
And really, because
Perry-
I'm 50-50 on whether he was. I feel like he
Yeah,
said
I
it
get
very.
that. I get that, but
It almost
Yeah.
seemed like it was something that he didn't want to argue over. It was almost like when he said it, he's like, yeah, I think the world's flat, but that doesn't really matter, doesn't it?
well, yeah,
But maybe,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I just sort of take what they say in an interview.
Oh,
you
you
sort of
did.
thing.
So you did
I
ask
did
him, and
ask
he
him,
said
yeah.
that he thinks the world's round.
Yeah.
Good.
I believe so, yeah,
I want to be. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I just want people to actually accept science or facts or whatever.
Well, I mean,
want.
even if he did, I've talked to people with
We've talked
stranger
about it,
beliefs, so
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that's fine.
And he's like you were saying, he sounds like a good guy. That's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. He really, I think he really is. He just, he disagrees with my beliefs. I disagree with his. So what? I can respect him for his actions and the way he conducts himself. That's fine. I think Perry went on Praises recently and explained his particular version of Christianity, and I think they're mad about it. He had a
I was
couple
gonna
of
say, how'd that
streams on
go?
it.
They
Oh,
bicker back
not
and
well.
forth. They don't
Oh,
like.
yeah,
the interpretation of it, yeah.
They sort of came down as you are completely and utterly wrong kind of thing. So I think that was I could imagine sort of a Christian or any other Christian experiencing Perry's idea of, well, you can't sin kind of thing. They find it an incredible amount of exception with that interpretation, which is probably for the best.
It's a pretty
that they're
bizarre
pushing back.
interpretation. Yeah.
It is absolutely certainly not the normative interpretation you'll find in any church I'm aware of. But anyway, I'm taking up your time. Do get somebody else on, and thank you so much for having me on.
welcome
I
on
love
board,
the
Mark.
video.
We just got Peebo. What I am going to do is I'm just going to put it into chat one more time because we only need to be on here for 15 or 20 more minutes. And so we got that up there. However, while I'm pinning that, we're going to get Peebo, what is up? We are Skeptic and Ranting on There Is No Such Thing as Atheism. What do you think?
I thought he was going to get there with the I almost got taken out by the truck on the side of the road thing. I thought, okay, here he comes in with the no atheist in foxhole sort of story. And then it was just like the ramble just kept coming. And it just kept coming. It just kept coming. He just kept talking.
You've never been in a high stakes situation with a car going like 1 to 3 kilometers at you?
Well, other than my first car accident or my second car accident, yeah.
Look, it was my heart was pounding. I was like, this is at least going to be multiple dozens of dollars.
Yes, no, that's running through the forefront of my mind is like, oh feck, this is going to be expensive. Crunch.
And then basically right after that, Jesus. So you get the bill and you're like, damn,
Well, no, I was more worried about the other person in a couple of mine.
Oh, sure, too.
Yeah, so Jesus wasn't involved. It was like, oh, is the other person all right? Think shit.
But yeah, so I guess you're still an atheist. You're not convinced.
Still a non-theist. Yep.
Still a non-theist. Okay, I'll take it. Non-theist works. Peepo, welcome on board. We're just going to now head into open conversation.
Show.
Yes, I would say I can actually not thank you enough, except I'm just going to say it 3 times and pretend like that's enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so very much, Peepo.
That's okay.
And with that, we're moving into the open conversation. We are skeptic and ranting on there is no such thing as atheism. And I don't think that any of us became convinced.
I'm sure there have actually been a few books come out now, haven't there, of folks who've served over in the Middle East. They've come back to the States and they're sort of pushing back against the no atheist in foxholes of like basically, I was there, I took this fire and hello, still an atheist, because at the time we were too busy trying to shoot back sort of thing than calling God, unless they were talking about their sniper.
Yeah, probably don't want people falling to their knees and praying. You want people getting shit done and doing things.
Yeah.
Being leaders.
And war does have a... I mean, when you're talking about beliefs, war does have a capability to make people theists, but it has a capability to make people atheists as well. A lot of people sort of, going out to fight for God and country sort of lose the God part quickly.
Once again, I'm just making up this hypothetical scenario, but it's very easy to see why you go in very strong at the beginning of a war with God and country, and then you see all of the bodies that are just lining on both sides, and you go, you know what? Maybe there is no God.
Well, that definitely came across in the First World War, didn't it? With the French army basically going, screw this. We've had it with our leaders. We're basically going to pull the pin.
This is probably the most lay thing I've said tonight, but I'm so excited for All Quiet on the Western Front, the redo, because it's getting rave reviews, so apparently it's amazing.
I don't know, the book was so boring. Like, I'm really sorry. I know that it's a critique of a very serious event, and I know, but it's so boring.
See, I never read the book, so I don't have
right. It doesn't even stick in my mind. There's not a lot that happens in it. It's not my cup of tea.
It's not a lot of action. It's waiting.
I've seen a couple of film adaptations, and they were pretty.
Well, a friend of mine says that the first one with Ernest Borgnine and I can't remember the other actor was really, really good. Because they have made a previous one. This one, I found like having seen. I think it was more. Like the closest I can ascribe it to is Spielberg's B-17 movie.
Saving Private Ryan.
Spielberg's B-17 movie.
I'm not familiar. With
something or other, Destiny, something. I can't remember. He names it after the plane. But that like the whole movie is actually Memphis Belle. But that whole movie. Yes. Is actually a pastiche of lots of little events that happen to lots of different planes, all pushed into one movie to make it just super, super exciting. And that's what I kind of feel has happened with this recreation.
Do you think there'll be a movie about the Russian invasion of Ukraine? Do you think that will happen?
Eventually, I thought of that? I have actually thought of this before. I would love to do a movie where specifically I want to do it from the Russian side, where it's like this unit where it starts out where it's all very happy and they're like and they all have different reasons why they're being told, and then it slowly becomes a horror movie where they realize that they are being lied to and all this. So I don't know. I have like this.
Well, in some of the encounters, it'd be a really short movie. Because one of the encounters, like the entire plane goes down and they all squish. So,
well, I mean, now that the Russians conscripting people, it's turned into a horror movie. Like, can you imagine being?
It's always a horror movie.
Well, yeah, obviously, but sort of the time beforehand, it's like, let's go and rescue these areas, and from the Russian narrative point of view, from Nazis and these bad people. But can you imagine somebody that supported let's liberate these areas from the Nazis and these horrible people, and then you're conscripted later on.
Liberate people. They're being told we're liberating our brothers. We're liberating our brothers and sisters from Nazis. So, not to mention, there is something so brutally delicious about the second largest military in the world being terrible at military operations. I love that. I love that to no end.
I don't think they were bad at the operations. I think they were bad
logistics,
strategically, not tactically.
Because this is what I keep on hearing from commanders is that amateurs thinking strategy.
No, tactics.
Or tactics. Thank you. Experts thinking logistics.
Yes, logistics.
Strategy is like the overall.
Yeah,
and
the overall approach.
The Ukrainians seem to be able to do that way better right now.
Well, the Russians were counting on them
like they,
losing the key points. Sorry. Oh, the Russians were counting on being able to take like these key points, like decapitating the government.
Yeah.
An overt military coup, for want of a better term.
It was once they failed to take Kyiv, that was like where it.
And you got to give it to Zelensky. He knew what he needed to do. He basically stayed, reinforced morale. He basically created a situation where he said, over my dead body, and played on that sense of people will follow if I lead. And, like him or not, he knew what he was doing when he did that.
Bullies don't like people who push back. They like prey. And so the worst thing that can happen to a bully is that you stand up to him and they see that they're paper tigers.
Yeah.
Maybe taking pot shots at Winnie the Pooh. Well, I wouldn't talk.
Putin's a bully with nuclear weapons. That's scary.
If they work.
Sure.
By anything evidence of his equipment, they probably have a lot of really big paperweights that are never going to get out of the ground.
But how many have to work? It's still concerning, very concerning.
So we should all be the adults in the room. We should take him seriously. However, I do agree that there's many downsides. He has almost if you were to use a nuclear weapon, it would have to be on land that he claims is his. It would have to be on quote unquote Russian soil. People have pointed out that the winds blow east, and so wherever he drops it, nuclear fallout would then also head deeper into Russia. He would get a terrible, hopefully traditional NATO response from us, where we would wipe out absolutely everything. I wish we had already done that, but
Well, no, that was the rumor that was going around a couple of weeks ago, and why they were worried about the Russians in the power plant, of them basically setting off not a full nuke, but a dirty bomb, basically a Moab full of enriched uranium. And then Putin saying, "Oh, look, the Ukrainians were going to dirty bomb us."
Yep,
pushing in harder, sort of thing.
The problem is that they don't know. Like, they're too obvious about everything. Our intelligence community is too good at what they used to be good at the 90s and before. Like, the Ukrainians are fantastic at not saying what is going on, and the Russians broadcast everything. And so,
again, it's a fact that their equipment behind the scenes has decayed to such an extent that this has happened. That yes, you still have Russian troops texting from the front, which we can then they can intercept. Well, that's a drawback of running digital phones as opposed to the old analog phones, which our country went from analog to digital. That's a different story. Yeah.
No more Telstra.
But also,
well, Telstra still exists, but yeah, no more Telstra.
10 more minutes, and then we are heading out. Not because on topic, off topic, I don't care.
Yeah,
we are sticking with our 3 hours.
I thought of something, and I want to bring this up about the actual topic. I don't generally tend to judge from like what people look like and stuff, but there was something about that man's smile that screamed at me used car salesman or you know, multi-level marketing guy kind of thing.
Just the tone of his word choice and how his sentences and the concepts all just meld into one another, but nothing actually goes anywhere.
And did you notice that he talked about kind of like how he read books on that kind of stuff? You know, at a certain point in his life, he was very much into reading on cold calling and marketing and sales. And clearly he has an experience in trying to get people to buy into false dreams and hopes. And then now he's religious.
Well, see, the thing is that
product, right?
Well, see, the thing is that market and sales meta has shifted since that was a really good thing to do. People are realizing that when you do those kind of sales techniques, you only sell somebody one thing once, right? Because they don't come back to you if you sell them crap. So things, really successful companies like Apple and Google and stuff, they will they've got other techniques they use, but what they don't do is sort of these really empty promises that the salesmen in the 80s used to do, you know, and used car salesmen still do. The really successful companies are the ones that sort of stand by what they say and have products that people do actually want. So go ahead, people.
Oh, sorry. Isn't it like, because I also saw somewhere it's I can't remember the exact term, but it's like called marketing in depth, in that especially for the bigger companies, you try and who have a large swathe of products, the hint is if you can attract a very young customer, then that customer's sort of loyalty because
that's brand
was
loyalty,
ingrained into them. Yeah, brand loyalty. That's it. Yeah.
So and that's something that they're doing nowadays. But their products will at least be able to achieve what they're saying they achieve. The idea of selling the snake oil has gone completely out of.
I was gonna say, is this too people? I was gonna say at 2 minutes we say that we're closing, and now we have
that's how it works.
All right, we're gonna get it. Michael Smith, what is up? We are Skeptic and Ranting on There's No Such Thing as Atheism, and how are you? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been with you guys for like 45 minutes, so.
Woo-hoo.
Well, good to have you on.
This is the last 10 minutes, hey?
Well, yes, it is. Because we're trying. What always happens are you with people that agree with us. We could probably go on for a while, but the spiciness always comes from the theists. But where our new thing is, we try people when it gets to 4 or 5 hours, they always seem to think these are marathon streams. So, but what are your thoughts? Are there atheists? No atheists?
I think, okay, so what I was looking into it earlier today, and so atheist, the term, obviously there must have been theism first, right? So and then they come up with atheism, and use the letter A as a fucking like a just like a not agnostic, all these other things, it's something that is building off of it. So it's like a double layered concept. I think that's the way I look at it.
Tried,
you know?
I really did.
Well, part of that's
I don't know
an
about
artifact of language.
anti-theism though.
Well, if you're talking about so what you're talking about is etymology, right? The origin of words. Certain words existed beforehand. So obviously the word theism existed before the word atheism. But to me, and this is sort of my interpretation, I don't want to, be really harsh or anything, Mike. I know you're a bit trepidatious about coming on. I get that. But to me, it just sort of says, well, that doesn't, like, which word come first doesn't impact on which category of person came first, whether they were atheists first, even if they weren't called atheists, or whether they were theists first, even though they weren't called theists, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, I look at all of language, technically it's all abstractions. We have to agree.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm going to add in one more person. This is probably going to be our last person for the night. He has recently come out, so we just want to thank him for finally admitting to his true sexuality. He has been going around to different apologetic circles. He wants to remind you that all of us, each and one of us, is amazing. And so we just want to welcome Jesse Lee Peterson to the show. We are Skeptic and Ranting on There Is No Such Thing as Atheism. What do you think, Jesse?
Actually, it's Jesse P. Leaderson.
I want to say atheists don't exist. It says so in the Bible. It says so. Atheists don't exist. Everybody knows God exists.
It's true.
It's true. It's amazing. And if you think differently, you're a beta.
I'm so old. I don't get half these jokes.
I love the look.
Reference.
I love the look that I gave Mark Reid, because he's looking at the screen as if he doesn't believe what's happening. Amazing.
Amazing. Beta.
Beta.
Jesse, is porn gay?
Only if there's women in it, because women don't know how to give a blowjob. Right. So you have to have a man.
Makes sense.
So a woman and a man in a porno is gay, right?
Yeah, it's gay.
That's gay. Yeah.
Yeah. Women can't give oral sex. Only men know how to give oral sex.
Just like when you give a woman an orgasm, it's kind of gay. If you think about it, or don't. Please don't think of.
Yeah,
Well, it's only fair because they hide the clitoris and no one can find it. It's amazing.
And I'm sure you've tried very hard, Jesse.
I've been looking all my life. I've been looking
all my life.
Yes, and I read the Bible. Even the Bible doesn't say anything about it.
Every guy that you come across, you still have yet been able to find it. It's amazing.
That's the greatest argument of all time. If there's a God, why is the clitoris hidden? It's
exactly.
It's bulletproof argumentation right there.
It is. Everyone talks about it these days. It's divine hiddenness.
Divine hiddenness.
Divine clitoris.
Oh, Jesse, never change, never change. Oh, dear.
I will never change. I will never change.
He does. He changes with other men, but besides that,
yeah.
I change partners every once in a while, but you have to be amazing in order to do that.
Doesn't Hake do it for you anymore, Jesse? Doesn't.
No, we have to love, and especially men. We have to love, and we have to love other men, because there's only love.
You heard it first. Love your fellow
like
man.
Jesus did, right? Like Jesus.
Even if you want to love your fellow man, that's fine.
Yes.
Like
You have to. You have to.
Yes.
You have
Go
to.
down on your fellow man. The Bible says so.
Yes. Yeah, I really do. But we have a new guest here. Who's people? Who's Sulu? Who's that?
Finally,
Hello.
Peebo, do you know who Jesse Lee Peterson is?
I'm familiar with the guy.
It's Jesse
yeah.
P. Leaderson.
Jesse P. Leaderson. Jesse P. Leaderson. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think someone else I watched covered him. So
I think
lots of guys do.
I think Peebo private messaged me biblically.
Biblically.
Flashbacks.
Well hung and nailed by the Romans. That sounds like a great trip to me.
When in Rome.
Exactly.
Well, it would be a very different religion if they'd been trying to sell it to the Greeks as opposed to the Romans at the time. That's for sure.
Well, he wasn't actually in Rome, but everywhere was Rome at that point.
You got a fan out there, Jesse.
The Greeks did write the New Testament. I'm just saying.
The Greeks were kind of beta, weren't they? Weren't the Greeks a little bit beta?
Not with the Spartans, they weren't.
The Greeks were amazing. If you look at their pottery, it's all men having sex with other men. It's amazing.
Amazing.
I need Greek pot.
I need Greek pot too.
Yeah, I think I need some Greek pot after this.
Ooh. I got a baby girl.
And it's so weird. Whenever I come on, everyone's speechless.
Yeah.
Indeed, it's your wisdom. It flows through you.
Goes like dead, and they all wait for me to say them something.
Sorry, my timing is generally rat shit in conversations.
You are fine.
It doesn't matter.
Fantastic.
As long as you can give good oral sex, you can come on my show anytime.
It's all about it's all about the rhythm.
That's right.
And how deep you can take it.
Oh, see, we're finally getting to real discussions. None of these dad stories that the opposition viewpoint was giving.
Kind of dad stories.
So somebody mentioned the
those
Spartans.
Are daddy stories.
Interestingly enough, the Spartans, their greatest defeat was at a bunch called the Golden Band of Thebes, a Theban contingent, and they were made up of male partners, like homosexual male partners, and so the Spartans lost to a bunch of gay guys.
In all fairness, no one beats the famous American spy from, what was it, the 60s or 70s? His name was Deep Throat.
You were really winding that one up.
I thought he was just a whistleblower. He wasn't a spy.
70s,
was he? Oh, okay.
Mark Felt.
Sorry, not getting the Yank cultural references.
That's all right.
As long as you know what Deep Throat means.
Yeah, that's a kind of a cultural reference. If you go onto Pornhub, it's really like a food category if you think about it.
There's cookbooks.
We only have.
There's cookbooks, Amy. Amy, if you go on Amazon, there's cookbooks.
Oh, I bet there is. There's cookbooks, there's cookouts.
There's also there's the seaman bartender book too. Just do a search. It's there.
I just like hearing you say seaman. In the Navy. But one last minute panel, and then we're moving into our outros. But
I can't believe you didn't come with a cocktail joke.
Come on, Seaman Guzzler.
As we can get as many cock jokes as we can here tonight, we will be happy.
Once you see my cocktail, you don't want another one. I promise. It's amazing.
Amazing. I just noticed the rainbow in the back. It's a wonderful LGBT.
They can't get enough of it, huh?
Desktop or laptop. There also, I see crank anchors. I wonder if we would ever be good. I do know that we're eventually going to make a what's it called show. I've been trying to figure out. There's Mark and someone else who's good with networking and internet. Randolph. Yeah. Myself, Randolph, and Mark. I am eventually. I have to get all of these shows live. Though these have all been a long time coming, but once they're all up in the next month or so, my next show afterwards is going to be collecting.
It's going to be threesome.
Fake badges with Mark and Randolph, and we're going to be scamming people. I tried to sell. My new thing also has been trying to sell things to people that have been trying to sell things to people.
Yes, it's fun, isn't it?
Yes. like I understand of an extended warranty, but I'm trying to figure out. Are you trying to do a pickup order for delivery? We actually have a wonderful 2 for $22 deal if you'd like to get a hamburger. Just all sorts of fun stuff that you can.
Taking you back to your
kind of Mark Roberting people.
Yeah, just honestly, the people who it's called scam baiting. The people who scam bait, they have whole systems because there's ways you can actually promote scammers. Like, for one example, is they tell you not to pick up when your phone says spam call. They tell you not to pick it up because eventually they'll stop calling you. And so I pick up every single one, absolutely every one. And so because I'm trying to, but there's different numbers that they have and email. You can even get spam emails that you could find, and you could just go down that chain if you really. We could find those Nigerian princes if we really wanted to. And
oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, so they sometimes and a lot of the time they run these scams where they basically pretend to be a certain company that has a lot of customers, like Microsoft, for instance, and sort of send out a broadcast saying, hey, your Microsoft account or your product or your computer or something has happened, call this number. So it's an incoming number that they'll put in there. And so you'll call them up and you'll go, oh, I received this email. And they're like, okay, well, give me your details, and basically try to get access to your computer, your banking information, just anything they can, basically. So what you want to do is clean a system and completely isolate it on the network, set up some heavy security restrictions around it. But basically anything on that computer, it has to be just trash that you don't need, because they will get to it if you allow them into it. It definitely is. But
it is called honeypot.
Honeypot, yeah.
I keep asking them for the access number on their end, and they just never give it to me. It's really annoying.
When you know what the latest scam is, Amy?
What's that? In fact, say it, and then you're going to start us off, Jesse, for our
okay. Well, the latest scam is called YouTube handles. You heard of YouTube handles?
Love handles?
Mm-hmm.
No, YouTube handles. It's the latest scam. You know you can't get your own name anymore on YouTube. You now get a handle.
Handles are beta.
No, really. Don't think that I'm fooling. I'm really. I got my handle. Look, I got my handle.
This is a setup. I can feel it. Here we go.
Yeah,
There's the baseball bat.
Oh,
there you go. Your handle is reserved. Your handle is at Smoky State.
Yeah. I've been collecting them, and it's going really well. I mean, so this.
He's not going to be allowed near Chuck E. Cheese anymore.
No, I'm probably going to be banned everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's it. I've got a lot. I've got a lot of handles.
That is evil.
That is funny.
It's not evil. You can get them on YouTube. They're free. Everyone can get them. If you're fast enough, you can get them.
I didn't know that
you're the worst troll, man. Like, seriously.
I can't believe that you were able to get a copyright when I didn't know Orange Jello was allowed to be released like that on Twitter.
It's just go to youtube.com/ at Otangelo Grasso, and there's a video there. It's amazing.
Amazing. And on that note, speaking of amazing, we have been Skeptic and Ranting on the amazing subject on There's No Such Thing as Atheism. And Jesse P. Leaderson is going to be starting us off tonight. It has been fun, ladies and gents, and we are moving into our outros. Thank you so much, Jesse P. It was lovely having you on. We have been Skeptic and Ranting on There Is No Such Thing as Atheism. And what are your final thoughts?
Atheists don't exist. The Bible says so, and the Bible is true. No one's ever proven the Bible wrong. So I'm going with the Bible, and that's it. It's always the Bible, and you need to find God. And be good with God, and ditch women because they can't give oral sex. So it's men. Men are supposed to be the ones in charge, and that goes with sex. Men give the best sex. So you want sex, you get a man. And don't be an atheist because you don't exist. If you're an atheist, Bible says so.
Makes sense. Thank you so very much, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse.
I hope that you're able to get out of that storm. I know that you have been held up specifically in the men's locker room for the past few days, and so we hope you're able to get out. And thank you.
It's true. It's true. Just look at Jesus. Had 12 disciples. It was the first amazing gangbang.
Amazing. Really. Thank you, Jesse. Keep on coming on. And Pivo, the one and only, thank you for joining us. We have been Skeptic and Ranting on There Is No Such Thing as Atheism. Lovely having you on. We really appreciate all of your support and being a panel member with us. But we want to know, no such thing as atheism?
There's no such thing as atheism. There's no such thing as Australians because the world is flat. We're all secretly Canadians. Oops.
I knew it.
They're at the door.
They took him. Soros, are we allowed to show this? Are you?
Probably not.
Oh my God. The leader, Randolph Richardson, is supposed to be commanding them. I don't even know why we allow NASA shills like Mark Reid and James Wolfe on this podcast, honestly. Once again, just working for NASA. But, all right. Thank you so very much, and Pivo. And with that, we are going to hand it off to our co-pilot, James W. We have been Skeptic and
Did Mark Reid go? Did we skip Mark?
Oh, yeah. What the fuck am I doing? So sorry. I was staring at him. He was talking, and then I skipped him. There's my brain.
Sure. Yeah, look, if I was a NASA employee, I would tell everybody. Like, seriously, I would tell everybody that I work for NASA if I was employed by NASA. Well, that's a good gig.
It is amazing that you guys were able to invent CGI like the kangaroo. Honestly, no one would have made that.
Come on.
Platypus is obviously fake, obviously. Yeah, of course atheists exist. I mean, come on. the problem is that people are sort of like, well, the Bible says so, so it must be true. So I'm going to second guess what you're saying and basically pretend that you're not an atheist. You're not what you're saying you are. And I've seen atheists do the same thing. I've seen people go, oh, well, they couldn't possibly believe this, so I'm going to, question their beliefs. Basically, what you end up with is two sets of people just not believing what the other person's saying, and you get absolutely nowhere. It's pointless. So, this video wasn't about that atheists don't exist. It was about, I feel really good about being a Christian, and here's my personal life why, which doesn't in any way address whether atheists are a thing or not, and they're absolutely a thing, regardless of what you believe, because yeah, absolutely, because I am an atheist, James is an atheist, Amy's an atheist, there's tons of us around. Yeah, I'll leave it there. But thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate it. Thank you for listening and giving us your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I don't think any of us were planning this, but your literal title disproves this video wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
I would like to have a role play.
Oh my, we got some orange jello
a bad
right
boy.
on here.
Are you saying that I'm role playing as I'm LARPing as an atheist? How dare you, sir? How dare you?
But thank you so very much,
Bad
Mark.
boy.
It was lovely having you on as always, and everyone should go check out Mark and Atheist Junior's stream with each other. It was amazing. And yeah, thank you for coming on, Mark.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It was amazing.
And,
go. Amazing.
And all right, I feel bad. My brain was on backwards. Now it is actually your time with me not trying to skip our headliner
Newman,
of the night, which was Mark Reid. He actually joined us first.
He did.
And honestly,
Newman, focus.
F-U-C-U-S.
What does that
I
spell?
have been waiting for more
Darth?
more Darth debates, more not only impromptu, but I may nab Mark and find a theist, because we have been trying to get more debate me bras for a little while now. We keep on talking about it, so we now need a theist. I'm just going to grab them, and we are going to do more. But yes, nonetheless, James W. We have been talking about.
Here we go. Let's. I can't wait. I'm just so excited.
There is no such thing as atheism. James, what are your thoughts?
Hey guys, well, we made it. It was a bumpy ride, but we made it. It was a little dry, but I think we kept it lively. We kept it going. So you're welcome, you guys. Anyway, but yeah, thanks guys for spending your evening with us. Got 27 people watching. That's amazing. We love you guys, and we'll be back later in the week. We got a Bible study on deck. Moving into the Book of Joshua. We put the Torah back on the desk, but we're continuing on, so stay tuned for that. And all the new shows Amy's got coming out, all the things we've got planned for you guys. So, yeah, thank you guys.
That's what atheists do.
That's what we do.
They split hairs about everything.
I want to thank you all for this coming on. It's really amazing. And honestly, I don't even know why women exist. They're just gay. And gays can't exist.
They're betas.
Now. I'm ball hurt now.
They're betas.
And when is next live? That's a good question.
Women are just beta men.
We might be doing another one on the weekend. Look for at least one more weekend stream throughout the Friday or Saturday out
maybe
there.
Sunday.
Papa, thank you so very much.
I love to be spanked by you there.
Oh my. Yeah.
Oh, Amy,
yes,
you gotta pay for that.
You. I always like to say that there was a hole in my heart, and that in order for me to find glory, I had to find that hole. Yes. Okay. Sending so much love. I hope that you all had a fun time
I
on this
really resent
episode.
you using my voice. And it's so bad. So bad.
I don't understand
Beta.
what you're trying to say. I just got dental
It's
work
so
done,
gay,
and it's
isn't
the
it?
Novocaine. I don't know what you're saying.
It's so gay.
You
It's so
sound beta. Beta.
Beta. This Luke-Kale sucks. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Skeptic and Ranting. There's no such thing as
We got a
atheism.
good old-fashioned beta battle. Let's go. Let's
Beta.
go.
Battle of the betas.
Oh, it's a battle of the betas. Huh?
Battle of the betas.
The Bibble.
That's what.
Why are
Or
you
as
acting
Jesse-
like a snot-nosed 16-year-old?
Or as Jesse calls it, cuddling. We're tonight we watched a video from the channel Village Church called "There Is No Such Thing as Atheism." John 15:1-11 for a good time pruning vines with Jesus. Though I do want to thank my co-host James W.
Woohoo!
Along with our guest Mark Pivo, Michael, and Jesse P. Leaderson.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you so much, Jesse, as well as all the people in chat, our awesome mods who make the stream so great. They got free drinks
So
tonight.
great.
Specifically the one drink. You only had one. And lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible.
You're all designated drivers.
If you
tonight.
enjoy the show, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe.
Yay!
Because then you gain access to that all bell icon, which when it hits all will give you reminders to all of our premieres, our new shows. Woohoo! As well as reminders to see our live podcast, just like this one. Or hey, why not leave a comment once the video's done?
Do it.
You can also leave a super thanks, and we'll read it back as thanks on the next episode. After the show, the Skeptic and Ranting Discord server will be opening up for the after show, the link of which is in the description below, along with our fantastic channel members. However, if you would like, and which you can join by hitting that big red button, getting our evolving badge system.
Why do we need to do that?
Get all sorts of wonderful content, like our first episode or 1/3 of Skeptic on the Street, as well as the impromptu debate show animation. Just released that tonight, as well as all of our Patreon supporters who you can find at patreon.com/Amy Newman, which is the best way to help us make even more content. I'm Amy Newman, and we will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night, everyone!